Hello everybody and welcome to my channel Keela Talks. As you guys are aware, it's DV Awareness Month and it's Friday. So we're having an honest conversation about DV today. So far this month, every single one has been very very emotionally releasing, if that makes sense. This is a safe place. I ask everybody to be respectful in the chat. I know you are, but for anybody who's new to the channel, because we have got some new subscribers, please be kind. Let me just welcome my guests. So we've got Gary. Let me come on the screen. I feel weird off the screen. We've got Ivor Gary. We've got Real Panster, who you may know, who made the Tiny Tug teddies, and we've got
Hello.
Jackie. We've got Jackie down here as well. Let me just say hello to people in the chat as well. I've got to go scroll all the way up. Hi, Sensual Soul. Hey, Kirsten. There's Panzer, isn't she lovely? Blah, blah, blah. Sunshine, hey. Real Pamster. Hi, Real Pamster. And she's here.
Hey, everyone.
And that's Jackie. Hey, Elizabeth and me. Everyone chatting. Hey, Krumel. Where are we? Hey, Jason Reynolds. And we got Eco Spice.
Jason is my man crush.
JD. Let me just read it here. She says, after I spoke, I did feel as though I lifted a lot off my shoulders. You might feel drained tomorrow, but also uplifted, and that's how I felt in a positive way. Yeah, it is emotionally and very emotional. And there's someone else who we had on our panel last week, Khaleesi. Hey, girl. We've got Linda in the chat. We've got SEC. Hey, SEC. Nice to see you.
Les is here. Hello.
My eardrums.
Sorry. I just got excited. I'm sorry.
Mellow. Where am I? Chat just skipped me. There's your boy Gary in the chat as well. Hey, Susan Rodenhaver.
Typo queen, sorry. Not God, but good. Excuse me.
SEC says, sorry, let me just read this first. You're right, Gary, LOL, hey friend. And he says, hello, miss you all, so wonderful to see everybody. So, this is Pamster's first time on a live stream. It's not her first time on YouTube because she has a YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to her channel, please come one of the mods, drop that channel in the chat for Real Pamster. And get her some subscribers, and Jackie. Jackie's got a channel as well, so please check out her channel. But like I said, we're here today to have an honest conversation about DV. And before we start, I just want to share something that happened to me today. That a lot of people who have been through DV might have gone through the same. I don't know. It's like a PTSD thing. So earlier today, I was just messaging like a close friend of mine, and they said something to me, and all of a sudden, I just felt like a trigger, and I just started crying. Now, my friend didn't do anything wrong by any means. Oh, I love her to bits. But when you've been through something traumatic, sometimes you can get triggered in the weirdest ways from normal everyday things. You'll be fine, and somebody, the cashier at the checkout they may be having an off day and just be a bit moody with you, and it can just trigger you. in some sort of way. I think that is more present when people who are empaths as well, who feel emotions more deeply. Like I say at the beginning of all these streams, guys, just to remind us here, is that whilst people are sharing their experiences, can we just be quiet and let them do that? Let them share their experience. Because I sometimes forget. So I'm just reminding myself, oh, thank you, Khaleesi. Looks to you too, love. And hey, Billie Jean. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just weird how you can get triggered in a weird way. When you don't think that it's gonna happen. And it gave me
I've
like an
been triggered by
anxiety.
movies or like commercials, or even just in passing. You see someone look at you the wrong way, you know, and you've had a bad day, and you're just like, oh God.
Yeah.
It can just
Absolutely.
happen, especially if you have trauma. You know, it's my therapist says it's trauma brain, and we jump so quickly into anxiety. You know,
Survival mode, instant on.
instant on. Yes, that's it. It's really tough to deal with that. I feel you, Keely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, before we get serious, I just want to. I'm sorry to jump in like this. I apologize, love, but
It's okay.
I wanted to get dolled up a bit to give people some smiles.
What have you done?
So
Done.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, yeah. It's
I
I'm
figured
not just like that, but
No, that's a little risque, but that's okay. That's my husband's doll. That's the Lord Humongous. Just to explain, it's from Mad Max. I wanted to make something for him. I did a really nice job on it.
No, that's
This one's
really
from
good.
Disturbed. Yeah, so that's our
Yeah.
Halloween guy. Yeah.
It's so good.
Thank
But I'm
you.
gonna
Wait till you see what I got
your
comments.
I'm gonna be your husband's doll now today. So
To come hang in
hello.
the game room, right?
Ooh,
Yes.
fancy.
Hello.
He's
Look at
serious
you.
with
How
the
are ya?
scarf.
I
I'm
love
so
it.
serious. I am so serious right now.
I know
Um,
what's
Competition
happened
for the
today.
hair.
Uh,
I love it.
You didn't know what shirt to pick, did you?
no, I didn't. But I know which one you want me to put on, so I'll do that in a minute. But I just wanted to be dolled up for you for a second. And, hopefully Real Pam's husband sees this and invites me over to play Pac-Man and Mortal Kombat.
It's giggling right
Yeah.
now.
Centipede. This is the one I like. Centipede. That's the one I play.
Oh God, Centipede. That's the
Yeah.
best.
It is awesome.
Because Spice says, that's not fancy, that's fancy.
So much fun.
Fancy. Yeah, I like that.
Yes. Well,
I used to play with like
I
his
love you
cat all the
guys.
time.
And yes, Khaleesi, I am super serial right now.
Like for real.
I can't even do it anymore. Look, her husband has the real Pac-Man. I have the mini Pac-Man. So I'm like,
But like I said, that's
a Pac
doll
Mini
size.
Man.
I would love one that size for my dolls for photos. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh, I would love that. I never seen one like that in a thrift store. It's mine. I'm jumping.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. I apologize. I had to do that. I want everyone to be here in a safe space with a light heart because it will get heavy. It will get heavy
It
at
will.
moments, but
It's not going to be easy.
it's all
This stuff is
love
very
here.
deep. Yes.
It's all love. I love you guys, and I'll be back a little more serious. I promise.
Yeah. We'll get you serious head on by. Oh gosh. It's a laughter. Laughter is a healing mechanism. It's a healing method. It's good to
Indeed.
get that joy out, and it's good to have that light-hearted energy. But Gary didn't let me finish my story, Mr. Interruptible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, baby. I didn't know you were not done with the story.
It's okay. You're okay. I love you made everyone smile. I just wanted to explain to everybody, like I was explaining to Gary before, that a few years ago, if after I just come out of that situation, if I went in a low mood like that, like a trigger mood, it would put me in a low mood for days, maybe weeks.
Yeah.
Cherry's got you. Hamster.
Uh-oh. Of course. Hi, Cherry. Good quote. Oh.
Yay, Cherry.
I'd get in a really I go
A
very
funk.
very low. Yeah. But today I thought, you know what, I'm not letting it get me. So I went and looked in the mirror, and I always advise this to other people. And I looked in the mirror, and I literally had a big conversation with myself. Said, you know, how proud of myself I was. Look how much you've got through. Because I've been very productive recently in the home and painting and decorating and trying
Screaming.
get everything ready for Christmas. Like painting all the stairs. We have wooden stairs. I've been painting all the stairs and the floorboards. So, you know, I've been trying to stay in that positive mindset, and it works. It got me out of that funk.
Good for you.
So that's what happened to me today. Pamster, I know that that it was a big decision for you to come on here, my love.
Yes.
You were umming and ahhing about whether you'd come or not, and I feel so proud of you and Jackie for coming here today. What overwhelming it can feel when you're on a screen like this. It can feel, you know, intimidating, but you're safe here, and so are you, and so is Gary. You're all safe here. You know, and it's a safe zone. It's a safe space. But I know that it took you a minute there, didn't it, to build that confidence.
Yeah. It's not easy. You can probably tell, you know, I have something I'm sitting on that's different. I'm different, and people don't like different. And ever since I was a child, when things happened to me, like the abuse, I always felt like people could see right through me. Like they could tell that I had been abused, you know? It's really hard. And when you're ready to talk about it, I'm here. I don't have to start. I don't want to, you know, but I'm willing to share my story because I hope it helps someone else to find their voice. Like back when what happened to me was the 70s, and it was a different world back then. Those of you who are older in chat, I'm sure you'll know just what I'm talking about. You know? Do you want me to keep going, Keely?
Yeah, you can keep going, my love, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Are we ready to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me okay? First of all, I can get closer
Yeah,
to the mic.
You sound
fine.
perfect.
You sound
perfect.
fantastic.
And you look great.
Great.
It's so nice to see you. And
I know. I'm
hear
sure
your
everybody's wondered,
voice.
what does she look like? What does she sound like? Well,
No, this is awesome. Go on then.
So, question.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, do we all just want to take a second and just, while we get started, to kind of
Yeah.
shake it all out and
That's
just
all
Well,
breathe?
I do that all the time anyway because of the arthritis.
Mhm.
I'm like, come back, stop hurting. You know,
Yes.
the
Yes.
hands go because I poke myself and do things. You know.
Well, especially after seeing me just now. You need that.
Oh no, are you kidding?
And the fact that I
was
almost
the best
just
part of
died in my
day so
chair.
far.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I almost just died in my chair.
Oh no.
Did you almost fall over?
I almost did. And I felt so bad because I was like, oh my God, I don't want her to think that I'm like totally. Whew. But anyway, so.
Okay, Zod, be careful. Falling down in your chair.
Oh, Jackie went in the community then. She won't remember that. Zod fell off a chair on my first live stream.
Oh, did he really? Oh my God.
He did. It was so funny.
Oh,
All right
gosh.
then. Sorry, love. Go on then.
No. Are we? Because I'm This is heavy stuff
Yeah.
that I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, no, you're totally fine, I love. Sorry, Jackie, what was you doing?
I was just
Oh,
saying,
wow.
Keely yelled at me the other day for not touching my cards, and so I touched my cards, and this is what I just drew for this stream: purity,
Oh,
cleansing, and the soul.
Wow.
beautiful.
So
Well, that's exactly
we're
what
talking
this
about.
is.
mhm,
Lacey was
It's
saying she
cleansing
felt
the soul.
lifted,
yes.
lighter.
So that's
Very
what kind of gave
nice.
me the idea of the breathing and taking a minute while we gather ourselves and start diving into the heavy shit. So
Aw. Thank you, love.
mhm.
Well, I was a little girl when things went wrong for me. I had abuse from all sides. My dad, he was abusive. My biological father, who my mother showed the door shortly after I was, I guess, in kindergarten. And he was definitely mentally ill. I don't know what flavor it was. I've guessed often that it was like bipolar 1 or something, because he had violent outbursts and he drank and he smoked. And he just was not a nice guy when he was married to my mother. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was having a child when he was older, because he was much older, like 40s. And, I don't know how that must have been for him, but they had accused my mom of being a gold digger, and maybe she was trying to prove something, and I don't know, but I came into the picture and it was like, I can remember horrible things from my childhood, abuse from my dad for just getting up asking for a glass of water. He hit me with his belt, and back then that was normal for some people to get hit with a belt. And it just, I remember one time, and this has given me a lifelong fear of water. I was in the tub and they were having an argument, my mom and my dad, and he pushed my head down into the tub, and he didn't even realize I was like this, and I nearly drowned. My mom had to kind of like scream at him to let me up, and what that did to me is just horrible, and I have a son who has autism now, and my father died when I was young, so all the stuff I've been through, all the abuse of my mother that went on after my father, it's taught me how not to be. And I broke the cycle so that I could raise my son and be proud of what I see in the mirror and know that I'm not causing him harm. So my mother, onto her abuse here, she drank, and she was very abusive, like emotionally. She was narcissistic, like people we don't like, we've seen, and I don't want to mention her. You know who I'm talking about, the nameless one.
Mm-hmm.
And she was abusive physically, and drank and got nasty with words, and you could never make her happy. Some people you just can't make happy. And I found love when I was 17 with this man that I'm with now, my son's father. And she couldn't take it. She got so jealous that I had someone who loved me, really loved me, and wanted to be with me. It's just crazy how she couldn't be happy for me. And she did everything she could to destroy it. Like, she took my car away. Before I met my husband, I trusted her. She said, let's put your car in my name for insurance reasons, hon. I know it's hard when you're young. They're going to hit you up really hard in the insurance. And I didn't think a thing about it. So I did. And she took it back after using it as a emotional blackmail to keep me there. I told her, I said, look, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to go live with him. And I'd like to take my car and continue going to school. And at first she let me have it, but she took it back. And I'm lucky she didn't call the police on me in my own car, if you can imagine that. It was just terrible. And I mean, there's so much more that happened in my childhood that has to do with childhood sexual assault. And it was just so horrible. But you know how we are, we compartmentalize things and how we remember them. And we tend to say, oh, well, I didn't have it as bad as somebody else, right? You know, it's like, oh, well, I shouldn't let this affect me so much. But they knew about it, that this predator in the family existed, that he had done it to other children in the family, and nobody stopped it from happening to me. It's like I wasn't worth standing up for or something. And don't worry, I'm all right now, okay? I'm just remembering it, and it's very hard. So something else happened when I was at a beach, and my neighbor had gotten molested by a guy that I got molested by, because usually it happens more than once to people, to kids. And they had me in the police station. And they asked me, they said, has anybody ever done this to you before? And I took a deep breath like I just did, and I said, yes. And I told them who. My mother was in the room, and she acted surprised. I didn't find out until years later that he had done it to her siblings, and their kids. But when I was sitting there in the detective's room, you know, I knew I had young cousins, a girl specifically. I wasn't worried about the guy. I didn't know to worry about the guy at that point, but I should have been. But anyway, I thought about her. And I said, I can't let this happen to her. I have to say something. And in that moment, at 9 years old, it ended. And do you know what my family did? They made me the black sheep of the family. And they wouldn't let us come to any more family gatherings. And all of that ended. It was so horrible. And I was the victim. They acted like he was, and they protected him. Still, to this day, it was terrible. Just the whole, that they didn't protect me either, you know, or their own kids. It's like I look and I think, what's different? And it's the age gap, I think, because I'm not technically a boomer, okay? But they were, and older, like the predator. It's really scary when you think about that sacred trust that you have, you know, as a child for your family. And to have it broken like that, it's really hard. And so as a result, I just did my own thing and didn't give a shit, honestly, about these people anymore. My mom, though, when she did that with my car, it forced me to do something unsafe for transportation that I never should have done. And I nearly died as a result of it. I sit here in front of you right now, unable to stand because of her. What she took that car away from me, what it put me onto next, nearly killed me. I really had a tough time, and it, you know, it's just amazing I didn't die. People injured like me don't live. They really don't. If it hadn't been the right set of circumstances, like everything falling into place, I wouldn't be here. But I believe I had a choice. When I was lying there in the ER, I felt like I could have just left, but I didn't. I held on. And I knew how bad it was going to be, even though I had no real way of seeing how bad the damage was. I knew, kind of like a psychic thing. You know, you feel what's going on. And it was after that things changed. You know, she could, her old tricks didn't work anymore. If you know what I mean. She couldn't pull the wool over people's eyes anymore. And even then, her own family started calling her on it, saying, "What did you do to your daughter?" She's dead now. She died of cancer. Pretty much self-inflicted because she hated her life. But this woman, she and I could have ended up on Jerry Springer from some of the stuff she did. I'm telling you, Keely, and everyone, it's amazing how when your mother is in competition with you, like on that level, and just wants to destroy your chances at happiness, how do you handle that? You know, I don't know. I was in therapy for years and years, and none of it did a darn thing until this. Dialectical behavior therapy. Now, this is just a book, but I do this with my therapist. Not the book, but like her book. She's got like a therapy book. And core mindfulness is something that's really, really helped me to like be mindful of my moods so that when I feel triggered, like what you were talking about, Keely, I have to do these exercises inside. Like there's one called Check the Facts. Okay. People look at me. And when I was saying I feel this scarlet letter, it had to do with the child sexual assault. And like, I don't want people to see that, but I always felt they could. And there's so much shame involved in that, you know? And it's like therapy is so important to get through it. So if any of you guys are going through that, like, and you've thought, oh, there's no help, please look into DBT. Mindfulness can really help you calm that.
Yeah.
And I thank you, Keely, for all your hard work on the whole mindfulness series that you did. That was outstanding, and I applaud you for that. I mean, really, you do so much for people in this community. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, love. Well, the mindfulness videos, I wish that they could have got to more people that helped them. Like some of them only a few people watch, but I feel like that they help them few people. I just
Leave them
want
up.
to, oh yeah, they will stay up. I just want to thank you for being so brave. I could feel your energy just now. Now it took all my strength to not cry.
I let a few tears go, but I mean, you know, for the most
This
part,
is
I am so
good.
grateful to be alive. I don't let this stuff hold me back. It's like you said, you have
You
a conversation
survived.
with yourself. And yes, I survived. I'm here, and I don't have to feel like I'm not enough, if you get what I mean. Like, I may not have been enough for my mother, but nothing was ever going to be enough for my mother. Truly, there was. How do you help someone who has an empty hole like Nameless? You can't.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's like she doesn't understand people's feelings and emotions. Maybe she didn't have empathy or something.
I don't think she had empathy. Not true empathy, but I mean, there's so much pain there, and it's like the way my therapist helped me deal with it. This maybe if this helps one person, it's worth me talking about. She told me to keep things in a barrel in your mind, okay? Like sadness and grief. Put it in a barrel so that it's compartmentalized and you can look at it and you know it's there. So you don't have like, oh, survivor's guilt because, oh, I should be this, that, or I should be that. Shoulds go in the should box over there. It's like, keep it away from you. Shoulds, don't tell yourself to some unrealistic, unachievable scale. Why hold yourself to that? You know,
Yeah.
you are what you are. It is what it is. And sometimes radical acceptance, you know, is just as hard to practice as loving kindness to yourself. You know, it's sometimes so hard, and we are our worst critics sometimes. You know, it just really, it's scary how we can just beat ourselves up with words. And that's where these skills that I've learned come into effect for me. Like, check the facts, that one I was mentioning. It helps. And if I'm feeling this barrel of sadness pulling me into it in my mind because I'm triggered by something, I can look at it. But like my therapist told me, don't dive into it without keeping a hand up. You know what I mean? Keep a hand up so you can pull yourself out and breathe and don't lose yourself in the sadness. And it's like helped me a lot because I don't know how many of you have cried until your eyes swell shut, but I have several times in my lifetime. I mean, I've just had that much sadness, and it's just overwhelming sometimes, and you have to let it out. And sometimes when you cry, you can't stop. And I've talked to my therapist about that. And she said, this is what this is good for. Keep your hand up, pull yourself out, and get out. And look at it and say, okay, it's there. It's outside of you, even though it's inside you. You still can carry it around, but it doesn't have to drown you. And that's the big thing. Because, water is emotion. And in the way I believe, water has to do with emotion, air with thoughts,
Oh yeah, that's like the elements in there.
And
You
like
know
you, I
that.
get a lot of comfort from my tarot cards. I really do. In my runes, I do runes, and I really enjoy your streams, Keely, where we sit here and we watch people get readings. You are so fantastic. The way you do things, I am so in awe of you, truly.
Thank you, love. You just have to say it, but thank you. There's Kamisha in the chat as well. Everyone's giving you some lovely words.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. I mean, it's because of you guys that I'm here. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this community. You know what I'm saying? I closed my channel down years ago. I didn't have any reason to have a channel anymore until I started making stuff for him. And I said, well, gee, maybe people would like to see this, and here we go. And I'm going to make something so amazing. I hope you all love it. The thing that I'm going to be creating for spring is going to be awesome. And, that's what I have found helps the most. Is finding something that gives you joy. That really makes all the difference in the world. If you have something that you're good at, that makes you feel good, there you go. That's what you need to do when you're sad, if you can.
Yes. 100%.
So good.
Sorry.
You're so
Sorry.
good. Look at what's
No, stop
behind
saying
you right now.
so.
Yeah, I know.
It looks store bought.
Oh, these guys? Yeah. These are real jeans, by the way. I got that at the home improvement store. Oh.
Hey, you say hi? Do you wave?
Hey, little baby.
Crescent, good job.
Hello, little baby.
Just letting you know, guys. I just want to let you know, because we're talking about child SA, we might get pulled if there's an actual child on the screen.
Oh,
I'm done about all that. We're good.
I know,
I didn't want to get specific.
I'm just letting you know.
That doesn't need to be.
I'm just letting you know, Jack. I know it's hard when you're a parent, but you have to be careful there.
Oh, thank you, Dee. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Everyone's been so lovely here. So,
Oh,
and you know that a lot of the people
Sorry.
here okay, so upset. You have to say sorry, love. I'm like that though. I'm always saying sorry for nothing. Like just for sake of it. You don't
That's what I have to
realize
work on
until somebody says to you, "Stop saying sorry," and you're like, "Sorry." Sorry for being sorry.
Sorry for saying sorry. Yes.
well, thank you so much, though, Pamster. I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. I'm so glad to be here with you guys because I've watched so many streams and I've lurked and I've been like, a presence in the streams trying to support everybody. I knew you guys would understand. And Linda, gosh, I'm so sorry, for what you're talking about there. I really do feel for what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. But
going on what you were talking about, though, about your story, though, 'cause this is what we're here for right now. The folks on the panel,
Yes.
And I mean, I love everyone in the chat and everyone, throughout this month. Well, you can come on anytime you want to and tell your story, but for the real Pamster right now. What you said is very enlightening and it's kind of heartbreaking, but
sorry for that part, but
no.
It is what it is, like I said.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's why we're here, to get this off our chest and get
And
it
I
off
feel
our
better
shoulders.
just sharing that with you guys. I really do. I feel
The healing, it's a part of healing, and like I said, did you see JD apologise to the mic for knocking it? If he found it funny, but it's the fact that we do say sorry so much, and we do.
It's true.
When
you are a survivor, you do say it, I'm sorry, and that's it's
And
easier
that's
than having
typically-
conflict.
Yeah, it's typically people that have gone through it and are the victims of these things that say
Mm-hmm.
sorry. But the way you've handled it, and you made some very good points too, as far as doing things like what you're doing, just being creative and getting your mind off things,
Getting
and
outside of
you
yourself.
exactly, and you've created some fantastic things for yourself, but that everybody else can appreciate, and and you've given some really good points too about that book right there you have in your hand. You
Wrong
know.
book.
Ah,
Oh, there she is.
uh,
Who's this,
There.
guys?
Remember when you hit 500?
I
Now you're
There
over
know.
you
700.
go.
Yay!
Yeah, well, we're
That's
like
so
7
awesome.
away from 800, I think. Some
I think so,
subscribers.
yeah.
About
Yeah.
that. But YouTube sometimes pinches a few subscribers when I do get a few. Like,
It
I'll
means
get,
But
everything,
like
doesn't it?
you
that.
know,
Because we're supporting each other, and each
Mm-hmm.
other's channels.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful.
yeah.
It's such a wonderful community. I don't think there's another community on YouTube or Twitter that has as much love and talent. I mean, dare I say talent? Look at how many wonderful artists we have in this community. I mean, not just this kind of art, like what I just showed you, but like
Mm-hmm.
amazing to where you think, my gosh, is that a photo or is it art? Somebody shared something today that was just amazing, and I had to retweet it. I just was so impressed. And if I see something like that, I just have to retweet it. I agree, Billie Jean.
I did one of
And
mine
Gavin,
too. I was doing a mindfulness thing, and this came up.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love it. You
Who
just
was
did that
that?
today?
no,
No,
you did it
I
a
did
few
this a
weeks
few
ago.
days ago.
Oh,
Weeks.
it's beautiful.
It's more like a week. But,
You know, though, like going
but
back
that's
to
how I do
this,
with my music too.
the mindfulness part, it helps you switch off. It tricks the brain kind of like because your brain's having to be used on your hand, and you can't
Mm-hmm.
concentrate on the worries or the anxiety in that moment. It switches off from that, and you're able to just feel nice and relaxed, and it's like meditating, but you're aware, like you got your eyes open and you're doing something. It's like you're doing your dolls and everything as well. Is
Engaged in
probably
the
like
task and living in the moment. My therapist talks about living in the moment and being like totally engaged in what task you're doing and being totally immersed in the moment.
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah, and
it's not easy to do for
Kaylee's
some
actually
people.
been doing that too lately, but she's more of doing like DIY things with home
She was
projects.
telling
She's
us like the
yeah.
painting that she's doing, and,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, she
I
sent me
mean,
photos of it. It's really good. It's actually really nice. And she's just like having fun doing it. I'm on the phone to her while she's doing it, and I could just feel the energy coming through the phone. Like, okay, she's having fun. This is good. This is,
mhm.
but yeah.
You okay, my love, Jackie?
Oh yeah, sorry, toddler.
Yeah.
It's bedtime, so he's mad.
Aw.
oh, been there. I
He was
know it
like,
gets worse and then it gets better.
yeah, that's why he like ran over here and he like wanted my lap, and I'm like trying to stop the video, but then I was like, well, he's already here.
Mhm.
Oh,
But yeah, we're doing
Aw,
good.
he's super
Our,
cute though.
yeah. Thank you. So how are you, Pamster? Are you feeling all right? You doing okay?
yeah, I'm
Good.
feeling so good. Like,
Good.
wow. I mean, I took a break from the doll for a while because I knew the way I work. I like to sing and I like to be doing that when I'm happy. And I haven't
Right.
been like happy
Ooh,
this week. There's been some real life stress going on,
now you're
you
Mhm.
know,
talking.
and it's like, so I don't work unless I feel like it. It's
Mhm.
like when I feel that motivation and that drive, okay, this is a good time, you know, my dishes are done, I'm ready to go. Boom, I'm in there and I
Right.
can lose myself in it. But I've been taking a break from that right now just because I wanted to be just mindful of where I was emotionally before the stream this week. I wanted to kind of, because of wanting to make sure that I was ready.
Right. Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. I'm glad that you took that time for yourself to get prepared and handle it and deal what you have to deal with before you get started. That's so important, especially when we do streams like this. Not to sound like I know everything, but
No, but you've been on more than me, that's for sure. And I mean, I just knew I wanted to be here, and I wanted to be part of this to help everybody in chat and those who might be watching this later, because you're not alone.
Mhm.
None of you are.
Bless you, and
We've
thank
got
you
each other.
so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Gary.
Mhm.
Thank you. You and Keely both. You do so much together. You really,
Yeah.
you know, we love you guys.
Oh, thank you.
I
That's
really
so
love
nice.
Yeah.
I love my woman. I do, and I really support everything that she does and what she's about. And that's why. Last week there was someone that came at her, and it really.
Mhm.
I don't know
Oh,
if
I
you saw
missed
that
that then.
stream.
No, I might have been in another stream elsewhere. I had a friend that might have been live on Twitch, I think. I don't know. But I was in here. Everything was fine
might
when I
have
was
been.
here.
I think it was Tuesday, right, Kaylee?
Was it Tuesday's stream? Or was it the
It was in the
Tuesday?
day, yeah, but
She was
it was
doing
in the
streaming,
daytime. It was like in the daytime when it happened.
I heard about it. I remembered the fallout, but I didn't see the guy mouthing off like that to her. I would have been yelling too in chat.
Yeah.
Oh, Claire is here.
Hi, Claire.
What's
Welcome.
up, Will?
Hi, Claire.
But yeah.
So go on, Gary. I'll check out.
Oh no. I was just saying that I'm not turning my camera on right now because I'm still not dressed. But,
Clothes are overrated.
but yeah, someone came at her and called her a really nasty word, and it threw me off because at first they said, I don't even know if it's a he or she, but they said,
Hey, beautiful.
what was it at first? Keely oh yeah, Keely, hey beautiful, yeah. She said, hey beautiful, or he or she, whatever, said, hey beautiful, and I was like, yes, she is. And then after that, it said proper, and then a couple moments later, it said, I'm just gonna say it, slag, and that's a horrible, horrible word
It's like
to call a
slut.
woman.
It's
Yeah,
like calling a woman a slut or a hoe.
basically, or what is? But he said proper in front of it, and then that threw me off. I was like, wait a second, what
Disrespect.
the hell? And
No
then I
need
was
for
like,
that.
come at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, look, I'm not dressed properly, and I still got my palm tree in. So, but I'm just so you
Mine's
can
taller.
see, the truth in my face that this person came at Kaylee like this, and it really threw me off, and I was like, no, you don't do that. And so
There are trolls
the next,
that are
yeah,
trying to
that's a
hurt us.
horrible
There are.
troll though.
I
'Cause
know.
that's a horrible thing to say to someone, especially a woman. And I'm, I was raised by women, so I have the utmost respect. And um, just thinking about it now is making me have a stammer. But yeah, so when we did the next stream, I basically just went off on this person. I don't even know if they seen it, but everybody knew that I was serious about it and that I meant what I said. You don't ever come at my woman like this. And I said, this is my woman. All right? You don't come at any woman like this, period. But my woman, no, I'm not having it. And you can come find me or I'll come find you and we can sort it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
I miss
basically
all
You
of
know how
that.
that always
that is
ends.
because
They
that
never
that
ever
is
find
a
you because they're
form
just a
of
troll.
AB
They're just
use.
trying to upset you.
Yeah, well, the emotions were all
You
still
know?
high because this
Yeah.
was just following on from the weekend when we had that shit with the person
Right.
who came on the first DV stream here.
Exact.
I know. It was like 1, 2. I know.
Yeah,
I remember.
straight up.
I'm
Straight
glad
up.
I missed the thing in the stream
Yeah.
though.
Oh, I would have lost my shit if I would have been here. You did damn.
Well,
Truthfully, so
I
they
was on
are.
screen
Oh
on my
yeah,
own. Gary
Jackie,
was
I
just
know
in
you
the
would have
chat
put
for
it. You would have laid it into him.
Not now.
Sorry, I'm
I would have been so mad. I would have been
decent right
typoing
now.
left and right. It would have been unreadable. An unreadable mess of
Or just
barking.
hearing about it
Yeah.
making my blood boil.
I know, right? Like,
I
gosh,
know.
say
Well,
something.
that
It was
word
bad.
is a trigger. It's a trigger to
Yeah.
me as well because I had an ex partner. One like I've already told you guys, I've experienced 2 DV relationships, and one of them, he used to accuse me of cheating. Because I have male friends. I was brought up like Gary was brought up with women. I was brought up with boys, so
Mhm.
I got on really
Mhm.
well with guys. Gary got to
Yeah,
get on really well with
I
women.
get
It's
that.
like so it's like so I have male friends, but it's nothing like in that way at all. And he used to call me a slag. And so that to me, that's one of them words you know you just don't do that. You don't disrespect a woman in that way. You don't say that to somebody. But I kind of brushed it off a little bit because I don't want to give anyone that power no more.
Right.
I've been through that, so nobody's having that power with me. They're not taking that no more. It's one of them, innit? I mean, it's hard to talk about, but
Well,
I feel
good on
like
you
this
for
is
that, though.
It's terrible.
yeah.
Well,
It's only
you have to.
words.
It shouldn't have happened, but people are going to do that, and that's just like whoever that was. They may not even been in America. They may have been in another country, a paid troll
Well,
from something because
Mm-hmm.
I think they're British because slag is a British slur word.
they may have just figured
Like
that out from you being British and thinking, "Oh, what can I say that'll really hit her hard?"
Mm-hmm.
because I
That's
don't know if you guys know this because you missed it, and obviously you missed Gary talking about it. But when me and Gary first started talking, he watched a British film where a man called another man a slag. And when me and him first started talking, he turned around to me and he went, what did you say, you cheeky slag?
Cheeky
And
slag.
what did you just call me? He didn't know what it meant.
I had no
He
idea.
thought it was
No
just
idea.
like a funny term. So, and then when I told him what it meant, he felt like distraught. He felt really bad.
I
Um,
felt horrible. I was like, "Ooh,
well,
I'm
I
so
watched Red
sorry."
Dwarf. Like, I don't know if there's any Red Dwarfers in the chat, but like, they say things like that in there. I love Red Dwarf. It's one of my favorite British comedies.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, I think it could be they figured out that would be the worst word they could say to you, and maybe they were just trying to hurt you. I mean, you were in here, right, Gary, or no?
he was in the chat.
When?
I was on the screen on my own when it
Oh.
happened. I was streaming. I was me streaming, but Gary, when it was on a
Oh, yeah, I
shoot,
was at
like
work.
I've been doing.
Was
I've been doing the streams in the daytime, to try and put more chat time into the channel. But obviously, I still did my Tuesday night stream that night, and Gary was here for that. But I feel like that as the channel is starting to grow a bit more now, we're gonna get trolls. But this is important. What Kirsty's saying. Whoever says sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words never hurt me because words can hurt for years. Words is something you can't take back once it's said, and it's it's emotional, serious emotional abuse. Like these things that like as a kid that a bully had said to me, and it stuck with me for years. Absolutely is. And I know this ain't about anything to do with like bullying or whatever. It's about DV. But it just goes to show that them words can stick. And I know for a fact that it stuck with me what things were said to me in a relationship, and that's how you can get triggered. Hey KK, that's one of the ways how you can get triggered so easily. But like I said, after it happened, I made a conscious decision not to let this person have that power.
Good for you, Keely. Good for you.
uh,
You know, I get people like total strangers will say crap to me out in the world, and I just don't want to listen to it. And usually I can ignore it, you know, because my son will be there and he will be talking the way you might have heard him in the background a little bit.
yeah.
It's like, you know, what do you want from me? You know, he has a right to be here. Just if you don't like it, I'm sorry. You know, we're not going anywhere. Disabled people have a right to be out in the world. You know, and this whole mentality that we belong in asylums or places left in the 50s. Or
the way I see it is that if somebody needs to hurt somebody else with their words or by what they're doing, it's because they are so fucking insecure.
Truly.
Like what person who was secure inside would want to hurt another person? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They just went rebel deck on us that time, didn't she?
Sorry. It pisses me off. It really pisses. It pisses me off. It's not like I can monetize anything. I can swear. I don't care. We can swear.
You can swear anytime you want.
But a guy that looks like fetish gear over here saying the F word's not gonna hurt nobody, right? I mean,
I know. But you know, like it pecks me head that people think that they have the right to, you know, to just give their peace of mind to people and not care. It's like I always say to my kids, because you know, kids have no filter. I say, you know, think to yourself. If someone said that to you, how would it make you feel? You're not got nothing nice to say, then don't say it. Because
toxicity is toxicity. It can be in any form, at any age, in any fashion.
True.
I'm sorry,
it's
my
hard
ladies.
for kids, though. Especially for someone on the spectrum, like my son. He used to always say things, and I would be like, but I mean, he is very kind and generous, but sometimes he says things that are just like, please don't say that. That person knows they're fat. Oh God, please don't say that. We had a big trouble with that for the longest time. It was like,
I'm gonna do
say that, you know.
gentlemanly thing and excuse myself.
We worked on it and he outgrew it. But I mean, when he was younger, it was so hard to get him to understand. You don't have to tell people that. I mean, that one in particular, it's like, no, or you know, it's just really hard, you know. People don't understand unless they have someone on the spectrum. And I think you probably get it, don't you, Keely? You know what I mean by echolaling, like saying the same thing and not understanding, having a filter. It's hard.
Yeah. My little boy, he's also very cheeky. Like, for example, there's somebody in my family who has a palate in the teeth, and he always says, every time he sees him, he always says, why take your teeth out? Why you got dead loud in for the public? Why you got no teeth? Blah, blah. And then I'm like, Harley, you know, shh. And he don't care. Or he'll just say something like, why is that person doing this? I'm like, son, come here. But he gets offended. No. He gets offended if I try and explain to him something like that. He thinks he's in trouble. I'm like, you're not in trouble. Just let me tell you.
You're just learning. It's okay.
Yep. Sometimes it's not easy to teach them, but you know, you do your best, so that's all you can do. Do it with love, you know?
Yeah.
That's all you need to worry about.
Exactly. Jackie, my love, do you feel like you're ready to open up what you came here to talk about?
Yes, sorry. I was going to talk and then I realized I was muted.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. I'll be right back.
All right, no worries. Also waiting for Jackie. Obviously, like you were saying, Pamstar, my little boy he's not been diagnosed yet.
But you know. I'm sure you know,
I know.
Right?
I used to be a support worker for adults with disabilities, and I have a national diploma in health and social care. So I recognise it. But he is very sensitive. He don't care what he says, but if somebody says something to him, he doesn't know how to take it, even if they're joking to him. He doesn't know how to be able to read that. Find the positives inside ourselves in work, seeing the gifts given to us in lessons, and sharing the joy of being the best part of ourselves is every day. That's beautiful, that Billie Jean.
Agreed.
Yesterday was a real bad day for me. I'm sorry,
I'm
Sunshine.
so sorry.
I'll give you
Sometimes.
cuddles and lots of love as well. You know we're here for you, Sunshine. Yeah, okay, so we've got a comment here. I was called Morticia once by ex-friends and they laughed. I visibly sank, but a stranger came up to me and said, if I was you, I would take that as a compliment. Morticia is an elegant, beautiful lady. Yeah, she is. But that's it. You've got to, some people like they throw daggers. And the best way to try and move past that is by like either trying to laugh at what they said and try and not let them have that power. It's hard, like it ain't easy. But as soon as they lose their power, it's like my children. My eldest daughter, she's in school and there's a bully and they say things to her, right? And she's absolutely gorgeous. She's quarter Jamaican on her dad's side and quarter Maltese on my side. I don't look it because I'm very pale. So she's like got this beautiful olive skin, green eyes, long hair all the way down past her waist. And she is absolutely stunning, but because of her beauty, she gets targeted, if that makes sense, because of jealousy.
Yeah.
And what do you call it? One girl said something to her like, when you go to the toilet, I bet you get poop on your hair, but it really hurt her, right? I know it's just a stupid thing that kids say, but
God.
this little girl had like short hair, and she's like, Mama,
She was
what, I get my
jealous.
hair cut off? Yeah, she said, Mama, what, I get my hair cut off? And I said, you know that she's jealous. I said, your hair's beautiful, and we're gonna let it grow, and she wants it to grow long so she can donate it to charity.
I did that.
And
I
she
did that
has
a couple
gorgeous.
of times. It's
She
a
has.
wonderful feeling.
She's absolutely a stunner. Like I won't share the picture online.
Right.
But
I could just imagine her if she has your eyes.
she looks like everyone says she looks like me. I don't see myself as anything, but everyone says she's my double. She's got like my almond shape eyes, but she's tanned, and she's got like hazel green. They change colour. They've got green, blue, and brown in them. They'll always change colour no matter what. And she's a little beaut. She really is. Gary's on a cig right now, but he'll tell you, he's seen her. She's a little stunner, and it's a jealousy thing with them. And I tell her that. I said, they're jealous of you. I said, when they say that, say to them, you're only jealous, and just laugh at them and turn around. Just smile at them and turn away, girl, because they want what you've got.
When you're young, it's so hard to hear that kind of advice, though, isn't it? I mean, can you remember being young? Like that
I
young?
do,
8 or
but
something?
nobody. Yeah, I do, but nobody gave me that advice.
Isn't that a shame? I mean, I didn't get it either. If I had, I don't know if I'd have heard it.
That's what I mean. Like nobody gave me that advice. I'm trying to empower her and lift her up and say, laugh at them. Just smile at the face, because as soon as you smile at them, they won't know what to do. They won't know what to do, and it'll confuse
They'll find
them.
another target. They'll find another target because they're not getting the reaction they want. They want her to cry. They want to break her.
And she's very sensitive. She's very emotional.
It's hard. Is she in grade school or is she in middle school?
She's nearly 8, but they don't have grade or middle school. We just have primary school and high school. So they go primary school till they turn 11, and then they go to high school till they're 16. And then if they want to go to college, they can do.
I got bullied in school a lot.
You let us know when you're ready, Jackie.
No, sorry, I was relocating because both my older kids are up in the living room, and I was like talking to my husband, and he's like, "Well, I'm sure you're fine." They're both like watching their tablets and stuff. They're not paying attention to you, and I'm just like, "Okay," but I feel more comfortable just
On space.
knowing my kids. They'll be like coming up to me and be like, "Hey," blah, 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 and I'll be like, "Girl, I'm in the middle of okay." But
Mhm.
anyway, so God, I don't even know where to start because I didn't want to like go through all of it.
Go through whatever you want to and whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to go through all of it, you can do it. There's no time limit.
Yeah.
We're here for however long we're in.
So I was bullied in school for the most part. So I've always okay.
Did we lose her?
I think you're frozen,
Buffering?
Jackie.
Oh, oh no. Oh.
He's just like waving like,
I
hey,
know. Oh, no.
Jackie.
Oh, no. Come back to us.
Must be a reception.
Right when it was getting to the beginning.
I
I
know.
don't see her in chat. Wait, hang on.
Let me tell her in the private chat. She might be able to see the private chat. 1 second, guys. Technical difficulties. It wouldn't be a live stream without them, would it now? Oh, there we go. Oh. Bloody hell. Oh, there she is. She's back again.
Sorry, all of my stuff like froze, and I was like, "Hello."
Whoops.
Fine.
Anyways,
Okay, come on. We just said I was bullied as a child, and then you waved at us and you disappeared.
I was doing a magic trick.
Yeah.
No, so basically, I don't know. For those of you that don't know me, I'm very like positive mentality, very like energy driven, and I am like I will go hard for my friends, and I keep my circle small because of what I've been through in life, and I've gotten very far in my healing process of all of the crazy things that I've gone through in my life, and obviously one of them being DV, and I have always been, my husband actually told me something interesting the other day. He was like, because my husband and I grew up together, we went to school together and all that stuff. He's like, back in high school, you were a little bit embarrassing. And I was like, what do you mean I was a little bit embarrassing? And he's like, because you didn't care about what anybody thought of you. You just did what you wanted to do. And so him telling me that, like, it made me feel good that I, at the core of who I am, haven't changed. And even like when I was going through, I'm very much get hit with an obstacle and move on type of person, deal with it and move on, and put out the fire and just heal. And so it was really eye-opening for me because he said that, and then he was like, and if I would have actually cared the time that I've spent now, if I knew then what I know now, and how he's like, and honestly now, like, that's one of my favorite things about you is you just don't care about what other people think. And so it's a very powerful statement to me, I guess. And as I was preparing for this stream, I was thinking about, because I want to tell my story, but I also want to tell about my healing as well. And because the other thing too, not to take away from the DV topic, but October is also Infant Loss PCOS Awareness Month as well. And I've been through that as well. And I'm wondering if some of it was because of what I went through in my DV situation. Because I have PCOS, for those of you that don't know, it's polycystic ovary syndrome. It's genetics, and basically it's one of the leading causes of infertility in women. And when I was in high school, so I went through, and I've always been in love with my husband, but we didn't ever like link up until now. We've been together 6 years now, but so I started kind of distracting myself, and I want to bring this up because when I was younger, I wanted to be an actress, and I was really good. I was really fucking good at it. And I was in lead roles and I was in theater. I was a theater nerd, theater buff, and all those things. And, you know, and it's amazing how one person can make you change your entire experience of life. And, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm happy in my life. I'm glad I'm where I'm at now. But had I, not to brag, but had I gone down the path I wanted to go down, I could have become an actress like I wanted to. And it's so important when I tell the story because, and I want my children and anybody in the chat, anybody in this community to know that when you're in a situation and you realize that you have to give up things that you love for the sake of your partner or for the sake of, you know, some whatever, like, don't let anything or anyone take that from you. And it's kind of a regret in a way, just because, like I said, I wanted to do something. I wanted to create all these characters and all this stuff. And so I was going to theater and I was auditioning outside of school, and, you know, yes, Billie Jean. And, you know, and I was like, outside of school, I would go and I would do auditions and I would do shows at other schools and stuff like that. Like, that's how in theater I was. And, but then when I started dating this guy, I all of a sudden ended up not going to those things anymore for whatever reason. And I never realized how it happened. And so when I stopped doing theater, I started writing. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I am an author and I've now been published. But when I started writing, I was in this CV relationship, which I didn't even realize I was in. And there was a time where he said, if I ever catch you writing again, I will take your book and burn it.
What?
Yes. And
Dude.
the reason why I'm opening with this particular thing is I feel like that changed the entire trajectory of my life. And
I write too, and that is so horrifying to me.
yes. and so you get like it stole not only my theater from me, but also my writing from me. And it was just kind of the reason why I'm opening with this is because now 10, 15 years later, I should say, I am now published. And this is all going to tie together at the end. But so I want to start with that because don't let anyone or anything keep you from doing what you want to do. And that's my biggest driving point when I'm telling this story, because I didn't even realize that all of this stuff, like, it was this huge isolation. It was this huge, like, separated me from my friends, separated me from my family. And, you know, and it just little thread by thread. I was with this man for 4 or 5 years. And it was like, I can't even remember what even made me want to be with him. And like, when it comes to like my PCOS and things like that, the way I lost my virginity, for instance, I waited until I was 18 because I was like, oh, I just want to have sex with the person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And of course I'm high school thinking, oh yeah, like, this is totally the guy. And like, and I never had sex with anybody before this man. And then we ended up having sex, and it was my first time. He knew it was my first time. And halfway through, he decides that he like wants to get rough, and it was awful. Like literally like pushing me against things, and like I'll save you the gory details, but it was really terrible. And literally, I was in so much pain afterwards. And so like when we were in the action, I was like, okay, stop, blah, blah, blah. He didn't stop. And at the time, I didn't realize what had just happened, right? And so, but I'm 18, and my parents obviously don't know. And I'm like, well, I had sex with this guy, so I should be with him for the rest of my life. No, don't ever do that.
For real. No, don't ever do that.
And like, and that was kind of what set the stage for the way the relationship went after, because I didn't stand firm and, end the situation when I should have, you know, it just got worse and worse, because at that point now I gave him a blank check for however he wanted to treat me. And it wasn't, in the way I was abused, it wasn't like he was hauling off punching me in the face every day or punching me or anything like that. It was mostly mental and isolation and things like that. So shortly following that, now that we've had sex, you know, now he has all this free reign to do whatever. He was a big drinker and I was not a drinker. I don't like drinking. I've never really liked drinking except for my negative downward spiral that I did shortly after this. But and so he was a big drinker and I didn't want to drink, and he wanted to go to this party. And I'm like, I don't want to go to this party, because I knew I wasn't going to know anybody at this party. I wasn't going to be comfortable at this party. And I just had a feeling. I have always had such a strong intuition, and spirit has always been strong with me. And I think that is why, I think this relationship is what shut me off and cut me off from spirit, is because I didn't listen to anything. And so spirit was probably just like, all right, you figure it out then, because like, we're trying to help you and you're not listening. And so we go to this party and, you know, everybody's drinking, having a good time, and everybody's like making fun of me because I don't want to drink, and they're like talking shit about me and this, that, and I'm like fucking right there. And, you know, but I'm just like, I'm so resilient. I've always been resilient. I was just like, oh yeah, whatever, ha ha ha, blah, 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 whatever. I'm driving, so that's why I'm not drinking, you know, whatever. So, because I was the one with the car, I was the one with the money, I was the one that had everything, and he just got to do nothing. And so the thing about DV that I want people to understand who have never been through there is the threat is always real. And there are little things that happen that, again, I don't want to sound like I know everything. This is just my experience. There are little things that happen to keep you in check. So I was starting to get upset because I was getting made fun of and people were talking shit about me, whatever, because I'm lame, I'm a square, I'm this, that, and the other, all the stupid high school bullshit, because I don't want to drink. I don't want to party. Like, I come from a military family. So, like, I was like, this isn't my scene. But, of course, he didn't care. And so we're hanging out, and luckily there's people there that I know, and I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable. Like, this is fine. This is people that I'm in ROTC with. Like, you know, we're good. You know, it's fine, they're in my class or whatever. Well, all of a sudden this group of people come, and they're much older, and they have like a bunch of, because they used to drink 5 o'clock vodka. And that was their choice because it was cheap, and so that's what they drank, was 5 o'clock. And so they were older kids that were friends with my friend's brother, and they came and they had all this booze and drugs and this, that, and the other. And, you know, and of course, now not only do we have alcohol, but now my boyfriend is trying to make me do all these drugs and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing drugs. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. And I never did, thank God. But there was a time they got drunk and high and what have you. And don't get me wrong, like, if that's their scene, that's their scene, whatever. That's just not me. And so they were drunk and high and everything. And they're like, oh, why don't we play Russian roulette? And I'm like, what? And they're like, we should play Russian roulette. And I'm like, I'm not playing Russian roulette. But of course, because my boyfriend was like, he has to look cool in front of these older kids. He's like, yeah, we're going to play Russian roulette. So this older dude reaches in his pants and he pulls out a handgun, and the barrel is this long. And they empty everything, and they're twisting the thing, and then they put a bullet in, and literally they start playing Russian roulette in front of me. And my boyfriend made some sort of jerk comment, and I don't know what he said. I've blocked it out. I don't want to know. But he said something to me that was probably threatening, and I was like, because I remember I was scared. And, you know, so him and this older dude start playing Russian roulette. And I'm like, stop. What are you doing? Stop. Like, this is stupid. And so I'm freaking out because, like, I'm like, oh, my God, what have I gotten myself into? And I'm scared to death. And so finally, they're clicking through. And they're at the last part. And, of course, they both chicken out. Not that I want them to not chicken out, but they chicken out. And I was like, oh, my God. And so then I told him, I was like, I'm going to bed because I just can't with this right now. This has been terrifying. And so they're starting laughing, having a good old time, whatever. I go to bed. I'm laying in there, or I'm standing in there and I'm like getting dressed or something. And my boyfriend comes in and he wants to have sex. And I'm like, I don't like, are you kidding me? I don't want to have sex with you right now. Like, that was not a turn on. That is not hot. Like, are you serious? And so then of course he gets upset and he starts like pushing me and shoving me. And then he grabs me and he throws me on the ground really hard and then takes what he wants. And I'm like, okay. And then he passes out and I'm like, okay. And of course I can't sleep. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what just happened. I didn't realize. I was like, oh, because I was always in the mindset like, oh, I'm with this guy, so this is okay. No, it's not okay. It's never okay. If you say no, it should be no. And so there was that, and then we're going through whatever, doing whatever. And so looking back on it now, I'm wondering if during all those times, because there was multiple times like that where like I would be like, no, I don't want it, and then you make me feel guilty or whatever. Or my favorite jokes were always the ones about like, oh, well, if you're not going to do it, I could find somebody else. Like, you know how this shit goes. And there was one time where, and this was kind of towards the end of our relationship, so it obviously just escalated from there. And I remember he was drinking one night and we were fighting because he was mad at me because I think it might have been the night that he took my book that I was writing. And we were fighting and arguing, and he like, because we had an apartment. I've been on my own since I was 17. I had no business having an apartment at 17 years old, but I did. And so we were in the living room and he like pushed me into the coffee table, and he was like pushing me around and this, that, and the other. And so then at some point I said something I shouldn't have or something, and he came up and he started choking me. And then I finally got him away from me after a while, and I was like, ugh. And so I finally got him away from me, and then like he was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then he walked away, and I was like, okay, it's done. Well, I walk away to go do something, and then he grabs me from behind, and I have a knife at my neck. And I'm like, it was like a switchblade. It was a switchblade. And the thing about this switchblade was, prior to this event, we were driving down the highway. And like I said, I was the one with the license. I was the one with the car. I was the one with the money. So we were driving down the highway, and he got mad at me because I wouldn't let him drive. I was like, you don't have a license. You're not driving my fucking car. And and he was like, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then he's like, well, let me just practice. Let me just play with the steering wheel. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so we're driving, and he's got the steering wheel, and he's like driving, like practicing driving with the steering wheel or whatever. And then at some point, for whatever reason, he starts like playing with it. Like he's like messing with me. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he grabs the steering wheel, and we spun out and fishtailed. We like spun out 3 times in the middle of the highway, 80 miles an hour. Spun out in the highway. Thank God I didn't get hit, but we spun out of the highway, and then I was able to get control of the vehicle and cut over and fishtail up through the median. And so I was able to do that, and we stopped the car, and I was freaking out on the shoulder, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, and I looked at him dead in the face, and I said, if you ever fuck with my car again like that, I will throw you out. Like, I was like, that is not okay.
Was your car okay after that?
Yeah, we didn't even hit anybody. Like, that was the crazy thing. I was able to get control of the thing as we're spinning around and get over, and people are driving around us. And I was like, oh my God. And it was so scary, guys. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking die. And so I was able to get control of it and get over so that I could calm down. And so then he's like, okay, fine, whatever. And so, I go back to driving, and he starts playing with his knife. And so he was like playing with his, because I had just threatened him. So he was playing with his knife, and he just kept looking at me, and he like it was a switchblade, so he kept like switching it open and closed. And he was doing it on purpose in my periph, knowing that I'm driving. And I was like, what are you doing? And so then it like flies out of his hand, and it like hits the glove box, and it sticks. And he's like, huh. And so then he starts taking it, and he starts throwing the knife at the fucking glove box. And I'm like, okay. He misses one time. It bounces, flips around, sticks into my windshield, and spider shatters everything. And we're driving.
Wow.
So it just webs all the way across my car. And I was like,
Oh my God.
and I was so pissed and so scared because I'm like, I'm driving. If this bus open on the highway, what am I going to do? Like,
Get glass all over you. That's what.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, and maybe in your eyes.
yeah. And I'm like,
Oh,
what are
that's
you doing?
awful.
Yeah. And so when this whole fight happened where he put the knife to my throat and he said something, I don't even remember. Again, probably blocked it out. Probably don't want to know what he said to me. And he said something about, I think he said something to the effect of like how he could kill me right then or something. And something like that. I don't want to say that's what he said, but something to that effect as he was holding the knife to my throat. And I was like, I think that you need to go to bed. And I'm like trying to diffuse the situation and not move because anytime I move, because he's got it like nestled in there. So like anytime I moved, I could feel it. And I was like, oh my God. And so finally he like pushes me away and he goes into the room and he lays down. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, because he said something like, let's go to bed. And I was like, okay. And so then I go in the room and I'm like climbing in bed and he like grabs me and he puts me on top of him. And he's like, and I was like scared because he'd already tried to strangle me. He'd already like put the knife to my throat. So I'm like really sensitive about my neck now. And then he looked at me. He's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, what do you mean what's my problem? And I was like, you're scaring me. Like, I've never seen you this bad. Like, I don't understand why you're acting this way. And he's like, so then he starts making it a joke and he keeps like grabbing my throat and he's like, and I'm like messing with me. And I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, he's going to choke me again. And then he looks me in the eyes and he says, Jackie, you should know I would never hurt you. And then goes to bed. And I'm like,
You're supposed to know this how? He grabbed the steering wheel and that's how he
Like,
shows you? I mean,
I'm
a knife too?
laughing.
I would never hurt you, hon. You know what
Yeah.
comes to mind? The Shining.
Yeah.
That stairway scene with the bat. I mean, no.
And I'm like, and looking back on it now, I'm just like laughing because it's so ridiculous. Like,
Yes.
like you're never hurt me? Like, are you kidding? And so there was all of that, and of course from there. And so then when I joined the military, it became a problem. And I think that's when we started fighting the most because I was in the military. He was a year younger than me. And so I was in the military making a name for myself, making all this money, and he was not. And so that became a problem too. And so he started kind of using that against me. And I think that's when we started fighting a lot because, you know, to him, he probably felt demasculated because I'm in the Army, I'm making all this money. I had like 10 grand deposited into my account for a bonus for signing up. I'd been to basic and AIT and all these things. And so so then he ends up joining the military too. And when he starts to ship off, so he ships out and goes to basic and AIT and I'm still with him. But at this point now, I'm like, how do I fucking get away from this dude? How do I get out of this situation? Because I was like, I hadn't made it to that point yet, but I was kind of like, oh, you know, he'll be better when he's back. He just needs some discipline. You know, he's a foster kid and, you know, he doesn't know and like what he's doing, about all the excuses. And so, but at this point I started to have like a strange inkling, like, you know, if I don't figure it, well, thank you.
Wow.
And so,
Jackie,
yeah,
you've really been through it. I
yeah.
thought it was bad with the book, but damn.
Yeah, and it was, so while he's gone, my dad is in Afghanistan at the same time. And so my boyfriend is over, my fiance at this point, he gave me a promise ring and I thought it was the cutest thing. And so my dad was in Afghanistan as a contractor, so he didn't have a weapon or anything. And one day my dad calls me while I'm on the phone with my boyfriend and I'm like, oh, I got to let you go. My dad's calling. And he's like, oh, you're just going to answer his call in the middle of us talking? You know, I only get 5 minutes a day to talk to you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to answer my dad's call. And so I answered my dad's call. And then I tell him, call me back in like 10, 20 minutes or whatever. So he does. And so I get off, as I'm on the phone with my dad's base gets attacked. And I hear the shit go down. And I'm freaking out because then my dad goes silent and the phone hangs up. And I'm like freaking out. And so then my boyfriend calls me again and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, like this is what's going on with my dad or whatever. And he's like, and basically all he wants to talk about is how mad he is that I am so upset about my dad and the situation he was in. And at that point, that's when I realized, what am I doing? Because my dad's in freaking Afghanistan getting blown up while I'm on the phone with him. And my boyfriend doesn't care about how I'm feeling, even a little bit. And so at that point, I started planning on how to get out. I sent him a Dear John letter that he never got. And so then at some point, he ends up calling me. And this is where I really started to realize he calls me as he gets this Dear John letter that he never got, because I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, you know what? I just don't think this is working or whatever. And, and because he called me and he's like, I want to talk about this letter. And I'm like, okay, well, I said everything I need to say. Like, I'm done. Like, I need to move on. Like, I don't want this anymore. And, then he ends up having a mental health issue while he's gone. And he's like blowing up my phone. I'm ignoring his phone calls or whatever. And then finally at some point I answer his phone calls and he's telling me, oh, you're just a horrible person and this, that, the other. How could you do this? I'm all upset and fucked up because of you. And I'm jumping out of 2-story windows and my ankle's all fucked up. And, I'm going to kill myself if you don't be with me. And, all the things. And it was hard. It was really hard to deal with it all because I'm such a compassionate, empathetic person that, like, I don't want somebody to kill themselves because of me. And so he's like, oh, I jumped out of a 2-story window and my ankle's all fucked up. It's all your fault and this, that, and the other and blah, 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 blah. And so finally I was like, goodbye. And I, hung up and I stopped answering because I'm not going to sit here and let you treat me like this. And, and then I answered the phone one more time and he was talking to me and he's like, and I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm over at sick call getting my ankle looked at. And I said, okay, well, I'm stuck. I'm done. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And he's like, he just starts laughing. And I'm like, why are you laughing? And he says something to the effect of something about like, oh, little Miss Jackie, so lonely, thinks that she's so strong or something like that. Something weird, like some like condescending bullshit. And he's like, you want to know why I started dating you in the first place? And I was like, why? And he's like, because you were an easy target. And I was like, what do you mean I was an easy target? And he's like, when we met, you had just gotten your heart broken. You were a loner. You weren't hanging out with anybody. You were just lost and alone. And, you were just such an easy target. And I said, click. And that literally has been, that's the part that's stuck on my brain is you're such an easy target. And my whole thing with that story that I just told is, okay, you think I'm an easy target, but don't take my kindness for weakness. I saw a lost little foster kid, no love, no, upbringing, nothing. And I wanted to be all the things I could for him. And I couldn't because I didn't have the fortitude to deal with it. I was in my teens. Like I had no idea like what was going on. And, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, I was really heartbroken and mourned the loss of that relationship. But it was more of the fact that what if something does happen to him and he doesn't have anybody? But then I realized that's not my problem. Like I've given everything. I gave this man money. I was paying for our apartment. I got food stamps under my name. I let him, in my car. And the important thing for me is I want to quote one of my favorite lines from the show Lucifer, actually. People don't have power over us. We give it to them. We need to take our power back. And that's literally one of my favorite lines in that entire show because it's so true. Because I'm looking back on all that. And after that, I went on a terrible downward degrading spiral. And, I boyfriend after boyfriend and putting myself in situations where I should not have been. I was fucking careless, walking around like the streets of Detroit by myself and 20 years old, trying to like do whatever the hell I was trying to do. And, running wild with my friends and not, I started drinking all the time. And then like, and it was really hard for me to kind of come back from that for a long time because, I just did, I was at that point, I had no self anymore. I had been so destroyed. And so I was just like, get over one guy, get under another, get over one guy, get under another. And I was homeless. I was couch surfing. I was just lost. And it wasn't until I myself deployed to Afghanistan, and that's kind of where I realized that my problems are fucking small because I deployed and I went over there a spoiled, entitled American, and I came back completely humbled and even when I came back, because of all the trauma I experienced from that relationship, I had a hard time readjusting back into civilian life. And I drank and drank and drank. And, I was drinking all the time and dating people I should not have been dating and let people use me and basically became a sex doll for one guy. And it was just a lot. And
Can I ask something? Did you? I gotta ask this because I just need to know. Was it because you thought you couldn't say no?
yeah,
You had no right to say no?
Yep.
Okay, because I understand that totally. That's how I felt when
Yep.
I was growing up, because of what happened to me.
yeah.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just had
No,
to
you're
know
fine.
that was what it was. Because
Yeah.
you have a right to say no.
Yeah, because I was
And
so
you
people
have a right
pleasing
to
and
be listened to.
attention seeking. Yeah, I was so people pleasing and attention seeking that like I was so cold. And and it's really funny because it wasn't until I discovered the local live rock music scene that I actually came back to life, because I started hanging out with a band called Shallow Side. They're from Alabama. They're amazing. And when I did that, I hung out with them, and I, of course, lived like a rock star for a little while, but I learned some really important lessons from them. And one of the people specifically, he basically, because I was dating a guy, of course, and I was in the bath. I was mad. And it was like another like mental abuse situation that I was in, and I had a crush on the lead singer of this band, and I was like, oh, whatever. And we were really good friends, and so like I had locked myself in the bathroom for a little while, and then the lead singer came, and he pounded on the door, and he's like, Jackie, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I'm in the bathroom. And so he's like, open the door, and I was like, okay. And so I unlocked the door, and he pushes the door open and he slams the door shut, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you're so much better than this. Why are you letting these people treat you this way? And he literally like chewed my ass out. And I was like, excuse me? and it was that moment that, and I'll never forget that, because I was just so like, I was living the rock star life, and I was like, oh, I'm doing better or whatever. And I was for the most part, but I didn't deal with anything, and I was still like letting people walk all over me. And so when he was
buried
like,
it. You buried it.
Exactly. And so he was like, get your shit together. You're better than this. I know you're better than this. You shouldn't let people treat you this way. You are a wonderful, beautiful person inside out, and you need to know that. And that was kind of the moment between me coming back from my deployment and really getting a reality check, and that time period when I was hanging out with Shallow Side, and he was like, get your shit together. That's when I really started to get my shit together. And I started writing again, and I found peace in that, and I started dealing with all my trauma and energy, and and now 10 years later, I'm doing great, and I'm I feel good, and I'm surprised I got through this without crying. I really thought I was going to at some point. But
I
yeah.
didn't wear mascara because I thought I might cry. I was like, nah.
Yeah. And so like that was kind of, sometimes you just need somebody to look at you and say, get your shit together, you're better than this. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he was that person for me, because, you know, and then now that led to like my husband, we found each other again after high school, and now we're together, and we've been together 6 years. We have a great family. And the important part about this story, just because I want to mention it. So that book that I was writing, that he told me that he would burn if he ever saw me writing again, I've now completed that book. And the book is called Deliverance. And it's been completed for 2 years. And I just completed it, and I sat it down. I didn't want to do anything with it because there was so much negative energy like tied to it. And I didn't do anything with it. And then I think it was on one of Keely's streams. And I was thinking about it. Oh, I think it was when she was doing the rods. And I was like thinking about
Great
Deliverance
stream.
a lot. Yes, it was
I
wonderful.
remember.
Yeah, and it was wonderful. And so I was thinking about Deliverance a lot and how I needed to do something. Oh.
Have you started querying for it yet? Sending out query
So-
letters yet?
No, I'm gonna self-publish it, but I started.
Do you know where?
Yeah,
What
so
platform?
it's gonna be on Amazon. I have to get it edited, but
Okay.
but the reason why I'm bringing it up is because the minute I decided to ask Keely that question, should I publish this book, and the rods were like,
Rods.
yes. I was like, watch me hit publish on that bitch, and I hope he sees it. I hope he sees it one day. Because and that would be like the last little piece that I would need to finally move on from it.
Closure.
Yeah.
You'll get published on it one of these days when you're ready.
Yep,
will.
and I have to get it edited and all that stuff. I did.
Mhm.
I sent it to some beta readers, and they loved it. So if you want to read it, I'll send it to you too. But
Sure.
um,
I've got some stories too. I've written like children's stories. I haven't been published because like I'm like this to publishing at this point because
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm just like I don't know if I'm ready for success, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because of like how you talked about how you lost yourself. Like
Yeah. you don't
lose
feel
yourself
worthy.
yourself.
Yeah,
Right,
you don't
and-
feel worthy at some point too, because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like you don't deserve to like
Mhm.
move forward. It's such a bizarre feeling. It's like even though you were the victim, it's like you still have that mentality sometimes. Like, I'm not good enough. Like, I do it with my husband all the time.
Yeah.
I'll be like,
It's hard.
it really is, because I'll be like, oh, I'm, you know, because I get sick a lot because of my PCOS, and so like I'll be sick constantly, and my husband is great. He'll take care of me, and I'll be like, I'm so
I
sorry.
get migraines. Like
Yeah.
so bad.
I
Yeah.
suffer from them as well, the migraines a
Yeah.
lot as
I have
well.
chronic pain. I mean, there's not a day that goes by that I am not like
Yeah, same.
suffering on a grand scale because I have pinch stuff going on in my neck. My
Yep.
arms go numb from working them, like when I'm sewing and stuff.
Yep, and I think I'm getting carpal tunnel, and you know all.
I
these
had that.
Yeah.
I had it, but you know what? Because I use my hands so much, I told him, "Can you do it through the wrist?" And there is
Yeah.
a way. Let them go through your wrist, not the hand.
Okay.
That's not the way to get the carpal tunnel fixed. Tell them wrist.
Okay. Yeah.
And if they don't do it through the wrist, don't do it because it takes forever to heal from here.
Yeah.
They said, and I'm like, no.
hmm
I don't know if
So much
you
better.
I don't know if you girls or some of the people in the chat might have been on that stream that I was on with Rob Rules on his member channel. And I
think
shared
I've
my
seen the member
story.
channel.
Well, I shared my story there, and I never felt confident to do it here. But some of your story, Jackie, is similar to mine, so I know I've shared little bits, but I've not shared all of it. But I also like to share that as well, if that's okay. And then we'll have a bit of a better conversation afterwards. But basically, as you guys know, I have 3 children, and two of them have one dad, and one of them have a different dad. My eldest children's dad. When I had my eldest child, when I had her, I had a 3rd-degree tear. And I don't know if people know what a 3rd-degree tear is, but you basically have to have surgery when it's like you have to have internal surgery when you've had the baby. You have to have like a spinal, like go in an operation room and everything. And my little girl, she was born right at the beginning of February, and it got to Valentine's Day, the 14th of February, and I remember him saying to me, "Are you cheating on me? Because why won't you have sex with me?"
Mm.
He had a big fight with me, and we broke. Like, he probably made me feel like so fucking low. And I couldn't at the time. It was even painful to pay. And sorry, this is TMI to people who's in the chat. Some people might just disappear off the stream right now.
And that's okay.
But
those of us who've been through it know.
Yeah, and he accused me of cheating. He used to accuse me of cheating all the time. But at the same time, he used to always pull me down. He used to always call me like, I know I'm a big girl. It is what it is. I always have been since being a child. You either love me for or what? Do you know what I mean? The only time I've only ever been slim one time in my life, and that's when I was 16. I had a kidney infection. I lost 3 stone in the space of 2.5 months, and I just lost loads of weight. I had a beautiful figure, but I was grey, and I ended up collapsing and ended up in hospital. But going back to this relationship, and that's when the jealousy got really bad with him, like when he had the baby. Because he weren't getting as much of attention. I remember one time, I just like bathed her and lay her down, and we were still at the time. I was still living at my mum's. There was nobody in, and we started bickering about something, and he just grabbed me by the throat and pinned me to the bed. He didn't do anything to me like sexually or whatever, but he strangled me. He strangled me, and I was scared. I thought I was gonna die. And then going forward, it was just a lot of a manipulative abuse. A lot of it was him, like I said, constantly accusing me of cheating, constantly name calling, constantly like paranoia and everything. And then when my little girl was about a few months old, I ended up getting pregnant again with her brother, my second child. And I remember when I was about 20 weeks pregnant, I just got this inner strength, like I couldn't do it no more. And at this point, he moved back to his mum's, which was miles away. Like, it was a 3-hour train drive away. So it went like round the corner. So he'd moved back to his mum's, and I felt safe. So I said to him, it's over. I'm done. I can't do it no more. It's over. And then I didn't hear anything off him. I blocked his numbers. And one day, I was walking to the shop, which was only over the road. I had my youngest in the pram. And she wasn't even 1 yet. Well, she was 1, sorry. She wasn't even 2 yet. She was like 1.5. And I also had my sister with me at the time. He was 4. And she, we go to the shop, and it had like a deli bar. So we went and we got like sandwiches and stuff. And we came out of the shop. And then he came out of this random street, like he'd been watching me. And he came over, and he said, can we talk? So I said, no, it's over. I thought it'll be all right. I might name my house. I thought, kid, my little brother, he's only like 30 months younger than me. He was in my mum's house. I thought, he's not going to do anything, because my bloody little brother will have him. I was like, no, it's over. I'm done. I'm done with it all. I can't take it. And he said, well, okay, can I say goodbye to my daughter then? I thought, that's weird. So he bent down to my little girl, and he said, Daddy loves you. Please always remember that, no matter what anyone tells you, that I always love you. And then he stood back up. I was 22 weeks pregnant at the time. He stood back up and he punched me in the face. And I turned the pram around as quick as I could. I was like facing this wall, and he booted me in the back, punched me in the back of the head.
Did anybody see it and try and help you?
It felt like it went on for ages, but then somebody ran and shouted, "Hi!" and he ran off. So I went home, I was shaking, I couldn't, my eye felt swollen. I couldn't talk because I was just crying so much.
I bet.
And I
Yeah.
go in, and my little brother was asleep on the couch, and I said, I said his name, said, he went, "What's up?" He went, I said, I told, let's just call me ex-Bob. I said, "Bob's just beating me up." And he went, "You fucking what?" And I was like ringing the police, but I was still shaking, and my little girl was crying in her pram, and my sister was hysterical because she just witnessed it at 4 years old. And I was worried about the baby that I had in my tummy as well.
Absolutely.
So, my little brother ran off to go and find him, and the police came, and I was escorted to the hospital with like 4 police officers. I had a big, massive black eye, and all
Yeah,
I
there was
thought
no hiding that.
No.
I thought people are gonna think that I've been in I'm a criminal or something with all these police officers. I felt embarrassed. But anyway, I pressed charges. The baby was fine. Well, I say he was fine, but now my little boy, who I was pregnant to at the time, he now has serious anger issues, and he's been assessed for autism and everything, and that could be down to the stress I went through when he was in utero.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
Because that is like you release chemicals when you go through shit like that.
Yes, absolutely.
But he was fine, like growing and everything, and he's such a beautiful little boy. Anyway, when he was 6 weeks old, I met somebody else, and he was like the perfect guy. He was so loving to the children, to my newborn. He was very caring, and I was basically like love bombed. He was like, he was very giving, and but that, and I was in a very, very vulnerable place. I was a new mom. Not even 6 months before, I just experienced a serious assault. And I shouldn't have gone in any type of relationship at all. But I ended up with this guy, and we ended up living together, and I ended up getting pregnant with my youngest child. Not, very quickly, really. Put it this way, there's 30 months between my youngest and my son. And when I had when I went through that, he used to just like have these. He never put an hand on me when I was pregnant or anything, but he used to like smash things up. He smashed my TV up, which my mum gave me, and he smashed up my picture that was Bill's. I don't know if you've heard me talk about Bill. He was like my dad.
Yeah.
He smashed his picture up to hurt me. And then like when my youngest little girl was about 7 months old, one night it probably blew up. He was like having I don't know if he was having a psychotic breakdown or whatever. But that night I ended up with a 12-inch blade to my throat. And it was pressed into my neck, and I thought I was gonna die.
Oh, honey, it's awful. I don't know how you can sleep sometimes when you have the nightmares that must come back to you. Both you have nightmares that come back?
Yeah, I do.
I do too, but
When
not like that.
when when that happened, like I said, I was in this vulnerable state, and his mom, she basically was like, because I still loved him at the time, you know. She's like, you need to go and tell the police that he didn't do this. He didn't, you know, you need to tell him this. And he basically got away with it because I still loved him. And that fucker could be in prison now. And at the time, I allowed him to have telephone contact with my youngest child. But then one night, he threatened to set my house alight. And I was just so scared. I rang the police, and the police came out, and they the police made sure my house was protected. But
God, that's
when
awful.
when I was living in that house up until I was moved for safety reason because of that threat. Jack, can you still hear me, Pamster?
Yeah, I hear you, but I don't.
I think Jack is having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think so.
When I was just saying that he threatened to set my house on fire, and then it was about 5 months until I could move home, and nearly enough every night I'd have this same nightmare, and in the nightmare I'd wake up with the house in a blaze. It's like I could hear a fire alarm, I could feel the heat, I could smell smoke, and I could feel my heart racing. And in my dream, I'd run down the stairs to check where the fire was coming from. And then all of a sudden I'd wake up, but I'd wake up actually downstairs. So I'd like slept walk in my dream and go down the stairs. And so it's like, but it's the most scariest nightmare that is so real. And even when I woke up from that, even though when I woke up downstairs, my heart was still racing. And they carried on until I moved. They stopped now. They stopped when I moved.
I'm glad you're safe now, Keely. I'm glad all of us are. You know.
And you know, and the fear was so real afterwards, like with mine, because that last conversation that we had, he was like, if I ever fucking see you again, I'll fucking kill you. And like, but I just hung up the phone, and I was like, if he kills me. And I was terrified for so many years. So I can't even imagine, like, after what you went through, Key, how like you were feeling after that.
Well, when that happened, I still remember the feeling of it in my neck. I still remember begging him to not kill me. And so, like, in that moment, I remember seeing my life flash between my eyes, seeing my children grow up without a mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a near-death experience.
And I begged him not to. And he's like, I'm not gonna kill you. But at the same time, he had me pinned. He was behind me and had this large kitchen knife to my neck.
Oh, honey.
And I got so poor with depression after that. It's only now that I started to like get back to being me.
Mm-hmm.
Within the last year. But
God.
It's frightening when you have someone you love who threatens you in such a way.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did really love him.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was blinded.
Any of us loved him, but the thing is, they don't feel love like we do. Those people, those partners, they don't.
Mm-hmm. And you have nothing to feel sorry for. You are so strong and beautiful and courageous, and thank you so much for opening up. And gosh,
Yes, Keely, thank you that you trusted us enough to open up this way.
yeah.
Thank you. I hear Gary. It's hard to hear it, isn't it, Gary? But it's true.
Don't
And that's
get me
part of what made her who she
started.
is today.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
All of this stuff made us who we are today. Good, loving people.
Absolutely. I've
You
heard
know?
all of this many times, and I love
I don't
you
normally get
so
upset
much,
like this.
Kaylee.
Like
No, no, no.
I learned myself to emotionally detach myself.
No, that's fine.
Yep.
That's fine. You do that. You do you. That is fine. And you did love, well, them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the ones that you were with, that you had your kids with. You
Yeah.
loved them. And there's nothing wrong with that.
At all.
You know, that's exactly how you felt at the moment.
The best
It's
thing
what
that
they
ever
did
happened
to
were those
you.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the best thing. And that's
You have
something
them.
that you should absolutely be happy about. And I know you are,
And I know she is.
because,
She's a good mom.
oh my God, yes. I'm with her every day on the phone, and I hear how she is with her children. And it's phenomenal. And I wish I was her kid. I'd be like, I love you, Mom. But yeah, you were in love, you know. So that's what happened.
And it's
But it
not a
just so
weakness.
happened. No, exactly. But it just so happened to be that these guys were assholes and they treated you like
Yeah.
shit. So that's why you have me now. All right? Because you deserve
I was
someone
with an
who's gonna
abusive
love you.
man for a short period of time.
Yeah.
He was not in my life long. And this is after what happened to me, this accident that I had. And at that time, I had let hubby go. I thought it'd be better if he could find someone who could keep up with him, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was never happy. I settled, and then it wasn't very good at all. It was so shallow and nothing real there. And thank God I didn't have any children with that man, because that ties you to someone forever. And I'm glad who I'm tied to. He's a good man. And
Exactly.
I'm definitely
I
not
knew
tied to my children's fathers.
you are through
What?
them, unfortunately, because they
I'm
make.
not.
I mean, unless there's did they sever his relationship with them? Are you lucky enough that they
Yeah.
did legally?
Well,
Then you
I was moved for
Good.
safety reasons. I was moved by
then he
this
won't see them,
thing.
right?
No, so I'm not
Good.
tethered.
Then you don't have to deal with that. But so many women don't get that protection, and they're stuck. It's horrible. I can't imagine, because you hear horror stories. Not that what you guys went through isn't a horror story. It is. It's
Yeah.
horrific.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, having a knife to your neck from someone who's supposed to be, you're supposed to be attracted to and want to be with. No, that doesn't fly. Exactly, Gary. I'm with you on that. That gets my hackles.
Making me growl.
And it's so weird too. All the little things, like we were talking about earlier, that trigger. Like there was some stuff going on, like with lighters, with that DV situation for me, and when my husband would mess with me and flick a lighter at me, I'd get scared, and I'm like, oh my God. And he's like, whoa, I'm so sorry. I'm so
PTSD.
sorry. And he's like, I didn't what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know, but I don't like it. Just stop.
Yeah.
And it's
I
just,
hear you.
For me,
It's
knives.
it's simple PTSD. I mean, it's real though. It's real.
Yeah,
mhm.
it is real. I used to be so bad with knives, I couldn't pick one up to wash it. A cooking knife.
I
And it
hear
was
you.
I had such trauma.
I don't mean to
even
laugh,
really know where
but
it
I
came
know
from.
exactly what you're talking about.
It's scary somehow. It's just like I get these intrusive thoughts, and I don't know if it's from the trauma or what, but I have these thoughts like,
That's
Like,
exactly where it's from.
I'm sitting here
Well-
and I'm washing this knife, and if somebody walks next to me, what if I turn? You know,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I could
Yeah.
hurt someone. That potential
Right.
thing just pops in my head, and I'm like, I can't wash this knife. I just can't touch
Mhm.
it. So my husband was like, "Look, honey, you can't live your life and not,
That's
wash
it.
the knife.
There you
You
are.
know, you gotta wash
You
the
for a
knife."
second there.
So he's like, exposure therapy. I'm like, no, it doesn't work. No, I can't touch it. And he's like, come on, hon, pick it up. Come on, now you need to use the knife. And he got me through it. But I mean,
Well, that's
it's
good.
real. It is real. Because like when I was a
Well,
little
your
girl,
man
there was a
sounds like a
snake.
good one.
He is a good one. You'd like him, Gary. I know you would.
Mhm.
But my dad killed a snake in front of me because it was near me with a knife, like a pocket knife. And I that is the only thing I think that it can be related to. Because
Or maybe a
why he
past
did it, I don't
life.
know.
Maybe a
Maybe.
past
That's
life.
like, I do believe in that.
After
It
that
could be something like
incident, after that incident that I went through, that knife was still in my house. And I remember I couldn't touch it for ages, but I kept having like
that.
big flashbacks every time I opened the drawer.
Oh,
Where so vivid flashbacks. And I found the courage one day. I was able to just like put a bag on it and just throw it into the bin.
good.
And when I did, I just felt this release.
Yes. Like it's done. Closure. Boom.
Yeah.
Move away.
Yeah.
But I tell
It's
you
just
what,
like-
though, I'm still just. I'm sorry.
Very
I
sick.
don't mean to cut in, but
No, you
yeah,
can
I know
cut in.
Kaylee needs a
Sorry.
cigs, but I'm just, reliving the stories that you've told me already, and
That's
no,
the most emotional that you probably ever heard me talk about it, though, because I don't normally get emotional.
No,
like that. I
honestly,
normally
you
stay
have,
detached.
you've been that emotional about it before,
It's
but
hard though, dredging it up,
I
you
tell
know.
you
But the
what.
thing is, dredging it up for a reason, it's so much more meaningful than, like, let's say you're going to a new
Mhm.
doctor and you have to dredge it all up for them. It's just like you feel like
Mhm.
writing it all up on a page and saying, here, but this is different. This is trying to reach out to people in chat, people who are going to watch later, and trying to
Yeah.
help them see
Yeah.
that they have value, and that if they're in a bad situation, they can get help. You don't have to face it alone, whatever it is,
Yeah.
It's not bad enough that you need to do something drastic, you're not the problem. It's somebody who's hurting you is the problem, and you need to get away from it. That's the thing. That's with domestic
Exactly.
violence. We sit here and we blame ourselves and we take on and internalize this person's hatred, and it's like, no, you got to reach a point where you puke it back at them and take your power back and inhale good light and love again and be like,
Preach,
this is
girl.
who I really am. Find yourself,
Preach. That's what I'm talking about.
I love you,
Yes, I
honestly.
love it. And at the same time,
Even
Oh,
through my
one second.
typos, you can see it. It's there.
hello,
Oh, God.
Popo.
Oh, gosh. That is so
I
cool.
just want to tell you,
Have you been eating sugar, boy?
little Miss Keely, that your boy, Gary, loves you, is going to protect you all day long. Everything that this beautiful woman down here has been saying, absolutely correct. Yeah. Hello.
No.
But
High
Gary,
five. Oh, wait. High five.
yes,
Wait. This way.
okay.
Wait.
Oh,
Hang on.
this
There we
way.
go. There we go.
Bam. Down here. Bam. Down there. Bam. But yes,
Okay, now.
he's got you. He loves you so much. He's told me. He's told me so many times. But, you're fine. You're going to be fine. And, he's going to, if anybody comes at you, he's going to Tyson Fury their asses to the ground. Okay? And I don't know if you know who Tyson Fury is, but Google it. Hello. All right. So
I know.
I love you, and I know you all love me. And
Who are you supposed to be?
we'll
Who is this character,
bring-
anyway?
What? What
Now
is
you
this? What?
Who is
We're
this
going to-
character?
No, she says, who is this character?
It's your boy. It's your boy Fairy. Hello. You don't know who your boy Fairy is.
You need a fairy godmother wand. That's what you need. It's some dust. Pew, pew.
I
Yay.
can't do it
Some
anymore.
sparkles. Oh goodness.
Can't do it anymore.
I was at the Dollar Tree the other day and I almost bought a wand. I should have. Oh god. And yes, I really do have elf ears for the heck of it, just for being Santa's elf. You know
Oh,
how I
that's
make
awesome.
gifts. Yeah, I put them on for a photo and just had a fun time with that. I love to cosplay.
I'm telling you. Oh my God, Pamster! You should do like a even if it's like a still camera snapshot of your puppets. Do like a little.
She's done a video. She's got videos. Have a look on there.
Have you seen my
of a-
videos, Gary?
Oh, oh my God! No, I haven't.
I do
I'm
slideshows.
so out of the loop.
Well, that's
No,
okay. I understand.
Yeah,
You
I'm
guys
so
got
sorry.
stuff going on, but like,
But
oh, don't apologize. It's good. But like, you probably remember the Purple Pirate, right? Did you see that video?
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
didn't
what he
see the
started
video,
out
but I
as.
remember.
We saw the Twitter
Oh,
post,
that's
huh?
so awesome.
Or in the Discord. Yeah.
Yeah,
I got some puppets I'm going to be making for my puppet show that I'm making, and it's going to be really fun. But I really,
Oh my God.
I didn't do any
That's
of this
so
stuff
cool.
when my mother was
Okay.
alive. You know, I
Stick a
just,
damn punch
I had
in
no
your head. Sorry.
confidence. She taught me how to sew. I mean, I won't say my mom was a bad person altogether. She really did do some things for me, but
Mhm.
you know,
Well, they do. I mean,
I couldn't
like, I have like
replicate
a
art the way I
love-hate
do now.
relationship too.
It's like, see, they were artists, and I always felt like I was measuring myself under their like award-winning artistry, and I was nothing compared to that. I was stick figure art at that point, you know. And I'm like, oh, gee, I can draw a Pac-Man, yay! You know, I can do the centipede, yay!
Yeah.
And then when I got older and stuff, and I tried, Mom was like, it's okay, honey, you know. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just won't bother. And then after she died, I really got into sewing, like deeply, and it was like, okay, you know, I'm good at this. And I started making dolls, and I made the Ricky Berwick because my son wanted me to, and it helped so much. Just lifted us all up to have little Ricky Berwick and this little cat Shady. You know, I don't know if you know who he is. He's a disabled comic, and he's been on Tosh 2.0 or whatever. I really like little Ricky Berwick. He's funny.
That's
He's
so
on
cool.
Twitter a lot. He has YouTube, but you know, he's out there doing his thing, and each of us got to do our own thing, you know. And
Absolutely.
I'm sure people now that having seen me, you know, they can see, okay, well, she is real. I am a real pipster.
I honestly feel
I
like you
exist.
could be like the next Jim Henson type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I
I
figure my
honestly feel
technique
like
out,
you
I want
could
to
do that.
get the mouths better because they're. Patchy was great, but I want to do better on the next ones. So I'm going to do another one, and then Captain Jack, and then back to other ones, and then start up a puppet show that's going to debut in the spring if all goes well.
Oh my God.
I got some friends helping me, my hubby. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I want to take some time to watch more of that. Did you put your channel in
Link in the chat?
In the chat? Yeah.
I don't know if anybody did that or not yet. Hang on a second.
I've seen somebody put it before, but
Do it
somebody
again.
put it again.
Do it again, yes, please. And when
make
I
sure I
find
have it
more
right.
time, when I'm not being Keely's sidekick, I'll be spending more time on your channel.
Yeah, you still have a Discord message from me.
See, where is it? Oh, I
I
can't put
know.
You never
it.
checked Discord.
I have to do it in
You
here.
best get him
sorry.
on Twitter.
Hang on.
Check.
Let's
Well,
see.
between
Yeah.
work and
Check
Keely,
Twitter.
Oh, I don't know if I can do it.
I'm
Let's
pretty
see.
busy.
Yeah. No, Twitter wouldn't let me send
But-
what I sent to him through there, so
Oh wait, I
Oh,
need
no.
to do Twitter. Hang on, let's go back to that.
that's why I have
But
to do
hey,
Discord.
guys, this is my woman. All right, so she is my life after work.
Which is fine, as it should
And
be.
before and during.
And even when you sleep.
Yeah,
Second
absolutely it is.
Let's see. Share.
I just can't wait to get there.
Copy link. Go back. Let's see. Where are we? Here we are here, and then Paste. Yay. Did it go? I hope it went. Yes, I think it went.
Yeah.
There it is. Yay.
Jackie,
And you're probably
too.
wondering,
Come
why
on
does
now.
it say
Don't
the
be shy.
Pamster? Well, I have an old channel, and before they used to make you have 1,000 subs or whatever it is to have your own URL, I had a URL. So
Mhm.
it's like an old account.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So I had sewing videos and stuff, but like I put them all private because I didn't like being out there. I wasn't comfortable back then.
Makes sense.
I hear you.
Yeah, and you're gonna find this hard to believe, but there's a lot of snobbery in the sewing communities. Dare I say? A lot of looking down your nose at people, especially in the quilting.
Oh!
God, don't get me started on the quilters. Oh, you
I need to
don't
do
sew
a-
on a sewing machine from the vintage days, like a featherweight. Oh,
Hamster, I love
how
you.
bad for you. Sorry, I can't help it. I'm such a little joker,
No, I need
I
to
love
do
you,
I
a
love it.
I need to do a celebratory live stream for breaking 100.
Great.
Well, that's
So-
amazing.
I think I'm
When
already a
did you do
sub. I
this?
will check though.
When did I do this? What is going on with this hair, y'all? Like, what just happened?
Yeah,
I
you're
put
just
mine
like,
up
There we
because otherwise it goes in my face. I can't deal.
you're just like
Um,
Keely with your little friends there.
I'm supposed
So
to have
cute.
bangs, remember? But they grew out, and I haven't had a chance to go get them cut. So I'm just like doing this weird side bang thing from the 90s.
Well,
It's
in
working.
the UK, from what I've been taught, they call it a fringe.
Yeah, it's called a fringe in the UK.
Mhm.
No, I love it. It's cute.
Dare I
Very
say
nice.
shag for haircut,
Shag.
or is that like something else over there? Like I think it means.
Shag means sex.
Does it mean haircut though? Like, can you have
No.
like a shag haircut? No, I didn't.
No.
I figured I'd ask because like there is such a thing as a shag haircut. I've
It's
had
Well,
like-
if you get
it's
a
like,
if
you
you get a
know,
shag
when-
haircut.
It's like fanny, what you call a fanny pack. We call it a bum
Yeah.
bag because the word fanny is a vulgar word for vagina.
something else.
the UK.
Yeah, I heard that. I knew that one.
Mm-hmm.
And is it boot the trunk of your car, like what we call
Yeah.
a trunk?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right, I'm
Call
gonna
that in Australia.
relocate all my stuff back out here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
worries. Oh, thank you guys for coming on. I'm sorry I got so emotional.
No, it's all right, Keely. It's important. You got to feel those emotions. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, and you just bury it, it's no good for. You got to let it out, and you're safe. You've made a safe place for us.
Yeah. Oh,
And now
that's
you
what I forgot
can
to say as
actually
well.
see your man.
Yeah, can I just see it now? I just need you here now. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this, Gary. I don't know if I told anybody this. But this reminds me of, I'm reminded of this because of what Jackie was talking about, writing a book. And I started writing one about everything that I've been through.
Yeah, you told me
I'm
that.
nowhere near finished. I know the title of it though. It's called. I know it sounds like, I don't know if it sounds weird, but like I was gonna call it The Girl Who Survived because I like to see it's like a survive.
That's a book I want to read. Please write it.
Yeah.
Do it, Keely. That I would love to read that sincerely.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah,
I'm
because
sure
there
everyone
is so
would.
much more. And it'll be emotional, but it'll.
Yes,
It's
but that's
hope.
okay. If you can get it outside of you, it's in my experience, like especially with poetry, it deflates the
poetry.
emotion.
I've written
if
a
you can get
poem.
it out. Mm-hmm. What kind was it? An angry
I've
poem
written-
or was it a happy poem?
I've written loads of poems, but what I mean is I've written a new poem about DV.
Oh,
It's only small, but I wanted to share it with you.
Would love
and
to
you
hear
just
it.
Imagine me.
well, poetry was dead to me for decades because I just couldn't do it. And hubby got me this little thing. This is called a rocket book.
Ooh.
It's a reusable, smart notebook, dare I say. It's pretty cool. You can do things like, you know, you set it up and you can, this thing erases with water to like,
That's good.
it's got,
Really?
really, you probably can't see it. It looks blank, but anyway,
very
it's got
cool.
these cool little dots. It's dot matrix. And I love this thing. And all it takes is water and you just erase it and it's good for another writing.
That's
But
good.
this got me writing again because, like, I'm a very tactile writer. Like, let me just ask you two: do you write on paper when you write your first drafts, or do you write in the computer?
I write on paper.
Me too.
It depends on the mood, but
Uh-huh.
I usually defer to paper. So my husband bought me a Surface Pro, and it's like a tablet computer, and it has a little
yeah.
pen stylus, and
Oh
so
yeah.
I carry that around, and I can, and it's like
Great.
I'm writing in paper.
Very cool.
Okay. So this poem is called Breathe or Breath. I don't know which way it goes. What it's called. But anyway. It goes and say, you need a moment to take a breath, to come alive after such a near death. It doesn't matter what you have. On the outside, you may even laugh or smile. Or has that been a while? Did I forget? Every day, I just seem to be upset. Where does the day begin? Every action is felt like a sin. Your soul feels like it's left in the bin. How long has it been since I found me? Since I thought about the feeling lost in a big sea. And I didn't, that's all I got up to with that one so far. But that was that one that I wrote.
That's a good one, Keely.
And it was just, this was when I was like, this is like how I was at my lowest, when I was after the fact, after what I went through, and I just felt so low.
It's hard. But
Sorry.
sometimes poetry helps. Sometimes poetry really connects us.
Well, I love
you know?
poetry.
Me too.
I've even written like love type ones. I've written this one as well, but this is like a bit more of a lovey-dovey poem.
I like lovey-dovey poems too.
Darling, don't you worry. I'm here now and I've found you. The dark days have gone forever. The light wraps around us. Everything feels brand new. The pain will die as we stand, just us two together. Me and you can get through this, my love. I know you've been hurt. He treated you like dirt. Now I'm here for you through the weather. Let me pick up that crown, darling. No more hurt and no more harming. How could anyone ever hurt you? I don't understand the things that he would do.
She wrote that one for me, guys.
It's beautiful.
I love it.
I actually wrote a couple lines of a song.
That one for me. She wrote that one for me.
After Gary's done with his song.
Yes, she wrote that one for me. Okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to create a little ambiance,
You're good.
but I failed.
You didn't fail. Oh, come
Who said
on.
you failed?
You didn't fail. That was awesome.
No, actually,
All your stuff is awesome.
in preparation for this stream, I actually wrote a couple lines of a song that I was going to if I could ever get it finished, I was thinking about giving to our community that we're building here for everybody with DV stories and those who don't have DV stories that just want to support. So if you want to hear it, I can sing it to you.
Yes.
Love to.
Let's see. So I only have a couple lines, but it's like, hold my hand, let me lead you through. Even in your darkest truth, I believe in you. With your strength inside, let me be your guide. You don't have to hide. That's all I have.
That's
Wow.
lovely. That's
Send
beautiful.
me that. Send me
Dude, I need a
that.
lighter. Where's my lighter? That was great. You have a beautiful voice, Jackie.
Well, thank you.
Dude,
Theater nerd, musical
I heard
theater.
you earlier, but wow. I believe you now. Wow. Gosh. I used to be in the church choir, but when my dad died, I was just done with it. I couldn't
Mhm.
go on. They
I
sent
don't
the
blame
priest
you.
out, and I was like,
Ooh.
I just don't have any comfort from y'all. I see a bunch of hypocrisy, and I can't go here. And after that, I
Whoops.
said, whoa.
Sorry.
Is it okay?
Careful.
It's fine.
I'm wondering, is it going to fall through the screen on me? I mean,
No.
whoops.
I think
Oh, you're so.
Keely was sending me some energy like, put the thing away, boy.
Never.
I don't see
Oh,
the echo going. No, I don't think so. No, not yet.
no, no, no. In me and Gary are like working on a project as well at the minute.
That's
Good.
the well that's the chords that I was playing was her melody that she came up with.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
yeah, she sent it to me. She sang it to me, and it was like, all right, well, this is kind of what I've come up with, but it's a work in progress. But it's gonna be nice. And
You
I'm telling you
blurry.
now, I'm blurry. I'm not blurry. I'm Gary.
You blurry. You got loads of tabs open.
I'm your boy
Blurry
Fairy, which
Gary.
you changed my name to. Thank you. I'm your boy Fairy. But yes, we are working on a song together, and she already came. I'm sorry, I'm a little gassy. She came up with the melody, and I'm trying to figure out the guitar chords to go around it, and so far it's so nice. It's really nice, and I'm gonna tell you now, she's gonna be singing it, not me.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
don't let
love
her
seeing
fool
all the
you.
different sides of Keely.
Yeah, she's got a beautiful
I
voice.
can't sing.
You
He's
know,
lying. I feel
and I'm
embarrassed
gonna
that
be
I sent it to him singing, but I had it in my mind, so I was like,
yeah.
of how it
No, she did.
sounded.
Well, see, I kind of stepped over the line a little bit when she was talking
You
about this
didn't.
on her stream. Yeah, because well, I thought you were talking about like all of us making a song together, but it was a song that you had in mind, so that's what I'm keeping as your song that we're gonna do. But I also had an idea that all of us can do a song together in the community. Just everybody like throw some lines at me and melodies, whatever you want, and we'll make it like a "We Are the World" type song, but it'll
Did you
be
hear that
for
poem
this
that I
community.
wrote? I wrote a poem called Ode to Us. Did you read it
What
by
did you send
chance?
it to me?
No, I posted it on Twitter quite a few times, but
Oh no!
I don't know.
DM
I
it to
don't
me.
think okay, like Twitter?
Yeah, please do.
Well, let's see. I
And
can do it off
anybody else
stream.
that wants to like send some lyrics in and
If you want
throw
to hear it, I can read it to
ideas.
you. I've got it on my phone because of the Rocket Book. That's how I did it. It gets it on your phone and scans it to where your email is, so I can put it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I
it's
want one of
called.
those too bad.
It's awesome. This thing has helped bring back my writing muse. I love it.
Mhm.
I use it
Oh,
every day. Okay,
This is so
this is
cool.
one of the third poem I wrote on the Rocket Book after not writing for over a decade. It was crazy. Um, it's for all of us in the community. It's called Ode to Us. We may come from all walks of life, seen our fair share of pain and strife. Each of us have our own journey to take. Along the way, precious friends we make. We're here for one reason alone. Uh, Because abuse has no gender, reality has shown.
So
It
do I
didn't
have
look like an A.
do I have to put that part in there? Like,
No,
uh,
this isn't SpongeBob. We don't have to do all the ding dings and stuff that they do in Squidward's masterpiece. Do you remember that? Where they like ding and Patrick goes, "Oh, yeah, no." But yes, it's like, okay, because abuse has no gender, reality has shown. Nameless challenged JD to speak and be heard. Little did she know he told a little blue bird. And heard we did, rallied around the true victim here. We stood up against every mainstream media smear, tweeting our hearts out in endless support. Justice is coming, the time grows short. When JD's in court finally comes, we'll all dance when we hear the victory drums. His fight is our fight, and we will fight on, because better days are coming with the dawn. I never believed he'd done anything violent or wrong. I also never thought his battle would run on so long. He showed us he sees us so many wonderful times, full of genuine substance, not not silly mimes, like saying she's a mime because she can't feel emotion. Her lies will be her undoing, along with her stands and trolls. We are warriors. We are his warriors. We'll see him reach his goals. There to support him every inch of the way. Each and every one of you are special. Who cares what the mainstream media say?
wow.
And they can call us violent all they want, but we're not the ones making the nasty posts.
Yup.
Yeah.
So that's
You
my
know-
ode to all of us, all of my Info Warrior brothers and
That's
sisters out there.
beautiful.
You guys are awesome.
I love
That's
it.
I'll send that to you. Thank you.
Well, no. What I'm honestly like thinking is you should
Yeah.
do that in poetic form. You know, you can have some like soft music behind you,
Mhm.
and just
And just read
record
it?
your voice just reading it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do that. Yeah, I haven't done anything like that yet. We just got the mic set up. This area wasn't set up for streaming, so I was like,
Well, just as long as it's not Pac-Man
No.
behind it, you know, because
oh yeah, no, we won't have
'Cause
Pac-Man
then-
behind that. No.
everybody's thinking like the turd is Pac-Man now.
No.
Waka 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 waka.
Might as well be.
No, might as well, yeah. Gosh.
No, but I think that's beautiful. It's very well written. It's very beautifully written.
Mhm.
But I think
agree.
you can do it almost like
Thank you.
spoken word type thing. So, you know, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be created into a song. You can put music behind it if you want to. But that was really well, nicely written.
It has enough power
I'm
itself.
stammering it up.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
There's something
Yes, Jackie,
special
thank you.
about writing a satisfying line in a poem or like doing a
Mhm.
scene in fiction where you sit
Yeah.
there and you know you've wordsmithed that son of a gun to its absolute finest, sharpest edge,
Yes.
and you know, and then you let somebody else read it and they go, God, that's good. That's so
Mhm.
satisfying. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that book I was talking about,
Deliverance?
yes, there's a line in there, and it was something to the effect. It was talking about somebody getting hit in the head, and I can't remember the line offhand. I'd have to dig it up, but it's something to the effect of like hitting in the cranium down the left side through the eyeball or something. Like it was like the way I like wordsmithed it. I was like, yes, bitch, you just got knocked out.
I did one in a book, my first book, and it was like the guy's a camp counselor. That's the background, okay? And he's cleaning the bathrooms, and it's my favorite line in the whole book is opening the door revealed some poor child's excremental explosive moments of pain, and now it's left for me to clean.
Mhm.
Oh boy. He's thinking it to himself.
No.
It's like, oh no.
That's
Look
so
at that
awesome, though. I
excremental
mean,
explosion.
there's so many like when you guys are writing these things, you know, some things are just meant to be a poem and not necessarily a song.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Some things just need to be said and not sung. I mean, you can
Yes.
if you want to, but sometimes
I've written one
it
that
just
I
needs to be
sung.
said.
But most of mine
Yeah.
are said poems. You're right.
I mean, yeah, it's fun if you can put a melody to it, and I find that a lot with people in the UK. They always bring music into really poetic things.
Music is so
But
important.
sometimes you can just have music in the background and just speak it out.
Yeah,
It'll be powerful that way.
that's what I'll
Yeah.
probably do
Yeah.
then. Maybe I'll release that as a short little 30-second video or however long it takes to read.
Hmm.
I did my pumpkin as a 30-second video. The little
Do you want
denim
me?
pumpkin we did.
Oh God, I
Do you
gotta
want
see
me?
that. I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
Sorry
Do you want me
about
to?
sub
that.
to the channel. You won't miss anything. Ooh.
Do you
What
want me to
key?
read you the? Do you want me to read you the words to this one though? That's about Amber Heard so far.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you want me to play
Please
You
it
want
while
me to
do.
read
you
it?
while you speak it?
No, no. Uh, um, I'm okay, sunshine. I'm just a bit overwhelmed, but I'm okay. So this song's gonna be called Your Legacy. Anyway. Why don't you
That's
just
so good.
make it easy for you? Just go ahead and tell the truth. You gotta work that dime every day, but girl, those lies ain't going away. Why did you have to go ahead and lie? Say you received threats to die. Your legacy will last forever. The girl who shit in the bed and the money go getter. Why don't you just let it be? All around the world we can clearly see who the true victim is, yet you stayed in the showbiz. That's what I'm up to so far.
Mm,
Love it.
that's good. Read it again. Read it again. But really slow and passionate. It's so
Oh, I
good.
can't.
It,
I'm not in the passion right now.
what?
You can. I'll send it to you as a picture. You can read it slow and passionately.
No, I'm not gonna read your lyrics. It's yours.
No, it's actually it's ours, but
No, it's yours.
we're
Hope they're already
together.
fighting like a married couple.
You wrote it.
Yeah,
No, I'm
but
not
you're
gonna
gonna bring
take.
it live.
Well, I mean, I'll put music behind it, but I'm not gonna take credit for what you wrote. You know, it's so good.
You still bring it.
I'm still here, guys. I'm just writing my daughter's invitations for her party.
Yeah, being a mom.
Hmm.
What do you think?
But when I was streaming when that came to my head, and I heard the exact way. I heard it like in my mind as if Gary was singing it, and I could hear the music playing.
Yeah, don't make me play the audios that you sent me.
Don't. No, don't,
It's
because if
so
you do that,
good though.
if you do that, I'd never ever send you anything like that ever again.
It's so good. Oh, guys, you gotta hear it. It's so cute.
No.
She has a lovely voice. Obviously, you guys know she has a lovely voice.
Yes. ASMR
But
by Keely.
but
Mm.
yeah, but you've never heard her sing before, and it's whew, whew, chills.
Do you need to go off camera for a moment there, Gary?
Yeah. Let me go have a cig. I'm gonna chill. I'm sorry, guys.
It was a dirty
No,
joke.
no, it's not dirty. Not dirty at all. I loved my woman. I do.
Well, before
I'll be
you go for
back in
your...
a minute. What? Go on.
Okay. No, it's okay. Go for your fag.
Well, before I'm not looking for a fag. I'm in the
Go and
U.S.
have a
All right.
puff of your fag.
It's called a sig.
It's called a fag.
She's getting frustrated with me. I love you, baby.
Is he going to change his scarf?
What?
No.
Jay said, is he going to change his scarf? Thank you, Issa.
No, I'm going to hide because Keely's gonna kick my ass right now.
I'm not.
She's like, I won't do that on camera, babe. I have a reputation online.
I love you guys. Y'all have fun. I'm going for a cig. Peace out.
Bumster. What are you doing, Jackie? Are you signing trip letters? My little girl had a trip today. She went to a mining museum.
Oh, cool. Yeah, my daughter. Okay, I got to tell you some stuff after this. But basically, my younger daughter is having a party, and so I'm doing the invitations for her. And I was actually going to ask you if I forgot anything. So, because as a parent, like this is the type of parent I am. If your children have any food or other allergies, please let us know. We do have a hairy dog, just so you're aware. Please bring pillow, blanket, clothes, toothbrush, hairbrush, and any required medicine with instructions as necessary. Call or text anytime. So I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything else that I should remind them, because I know as a parent, getting your kid around to go to a sleepover, you're bound
How
to
old are
forget
the kids?
stuff. They're about 9.
Oh, okay. It was good.
Yeah.
My little boy's 5, and
They're about 9.
The kids that are coming over. I was asking Keely for her parental input.
Lock in the basement, burn the house down.
something popped up, Kirsty. I'll have a little look at it in a bit, love. That's okay. My mind is like a bit scrambled at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Let me see if I can find my other poetry that I read. It's a bit lovey-dovey, Dom. Okay.
I like that other one that you just read.
Wait,
About
the
her
one
life.
that Amber Heard. Yeah,
Yes.
well, that's only just started.
That's good for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be
You know what
a
would be
song.
fun? Having a wordsmithing stream, trying to sit here and write a poem together, a group poem.
That would be really fun.
We should do that, Keely.
Yeah,
We could do that
I'd
here,
be down.
or we could do it on my channel if you want to.
Hey, I'd be down.
Whichever you guys want.
Yeah, we can do the either or.
Or both.
Yeah.
I'm not picky. I just would love to be a part of it. That's all.
Mhm. That would be a lot of fun. Not that I'm going to steal your idea.
No. I'm just saying. I think it would be fun to like
Mhm.
write a Amber Heard, Johnny Depp support poem kind of thing. You know, showing that hey, go to court, Amber, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've been tweeting that out left and right because she needs to go to court.
Yeah.
This whole thing it's time. He needs justice. This is enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's coming. Karma is
Whoa.
well at work, and I'm
Yes.
loving it.
I'm so here for it.
Like every day that I get online and I see Tug posted another video, I'm like, yes.
I know. I sit here. As soon as I get a notification, I'm like, boop. Okay, get in.
Yep.
There. You know. I'm always following Laura, the real Laura B too.
Yeah.
You know,
You know what I just realized? My fingernails match my cup.
they do.
I didn't even do that
Actually,
on purpose. Almost exact. Oh, if I can
they
get
do. It's almost exact. I see the little sparkles.
so
That's
weird.
cool.
I was practicing doing different eyes.
Ooh. Oh, Keely, I like those ones like third from the bottom. The big ones. They look like second from the bottom. Yeah, those. Yeah, beautiful. Those.
Do you
they're
like-
amazing.
Do you like my unicorn turtle?
Yes.
Oh, that's
These are
cute.
so cute.
She's called Gladys.
Oh,
Gladys.
love it.
Beautiful.
Another joke. I don't know what she's called. I thought it was.
How
I was
you
doing
doing,
eyes and
Jack?
I drew a turtle around it. What?
I said, "How you doing, chat?" Because I feel like we're ignoring them.
Oh no, I'm not. I am reading the chat messages.
Yeah, I see chat too.
I was like, I haven't even looked at it in a while.
I've been looking.
Oh, I've been looking. I have. I've been reading everybody's comments.
Love you,
And then
chat.
I was drawing, and Gary said it looked a bit like a self portrait.
It does.
It's weird.
Nice.
I'm looking for this poem, by the way. I'm not just like randomly showing you things. I'm looking. So
You
you
can
can
randomly-
it's lost. What the hell?
Yeah. You could randomly show me whatever you want. If you guys want, I could read something from Deliverance.
Like do you have a favorite part or something, or an opening that you would like to go with?
Let me look.
What part of it?
Let's see.
I don't have anything in here of mine because it's all boarded away somewhere on a hard drive. I got to figure out where. It's been that long. I mean, I have it. It's just, you know.
Yeah, let me look.
I like your song, DJ Record Hound. Just saying.
Show my mugshot. A guy wants me to show you his mugshot. Let me show you guys. I think he looks good.
Wow.
Not an actual mugshot, obviously. It's a picture for some documents.
Okay.
He's like, show my mugshot. I want to play Pac-Man. Oh, he still wants to play Pac-Man because we've got Pac-Man on in the background.
I can read this little cute part. Well, it's not cute. Don't get me wrong. It is not cute in the beginning. I can read this little part in the beginning if you guys want to hear it.
You can read whatever you wish.
For those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who I am, but I am an epic fantasy romance author. So if you don't like epic fantasy, I apologize in advance. But I'm just going to read this little part. So the character's name is Arati Eris, and the location is Arconia Academy. It says, the smell, the blood, the screams, the smoke, the roaring dragons. That's all I ever know or knew when my eyes are closed. My mother, the mark, the sword, the village, everything was so clear as if it were yesterday. The crumbling buildings of Drakeon village, so vivid, and the fires raged in a night that seemed to last an eternity. The Arconians found me, all alone in the middle of a village that existed no more. Arconians are dragon slayers from the hidden ruins of the Argo forest. Fearsome creatures I had heard horror stories about as I grew up, yet they showed me kindness in the middle of an endless night. My home had gone up in flames and left me all alone with nothing. My mother was dead. All my friends were murdered. The entire village was just gone in an instant. It was as if Drakeon village never existed. That was the worst part. The images of my lost home raced through my mind. The village had been filled with magical people, mages that had various natural powers. We minded our own business and stayed out of the war of dragons. Innocent humans that had nothing to do with the battle of who's got the bigger what that raged across Terracona. The dragons have been fighting for the better part of 5 years, mighty beasts that threw temper tantrums for who knew what reason. Millions of humans died every day for no reason, and no one was ever able to stop it. My heart pounds as I remembered all of my villagers' faces. My fist balls so tight my nails dug into my skin. You will all be avenged. The promise is one I made to myself every day, nearly almost every hour for the last few years. Their deaths will not be in vain. My mother's death will not be pointless. I will make every damn dragon pay, even if I die doing it. That's the end. Oh, I lost you.
That's lovely, that. So I didn't know you couldn't hear me.
Oh, sorry.
Boomer. I was muted.
1 second. I'm just getting a call. 1 second.
Talking to the air, yay! Yeah, I'm talking to the air. I said I really like that. It really gives a nice feel of devastation, you know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun. Like a good read. I really liked it a lot.
Thanks. I was very
I like
angry.
fantasy. Like,
Oh, good.
you ever heard of Piers Anthony?
No, but I will write that down.
He is amazing. Piers Anthony. I read. He has like 20 or so books of this one series called Yankth. Xanth. Yankth. And it's just this world he created, and he was a lot of fun to read when I was growing up.
Huh.
Kind of like not quite the same as Tolkien, but like
Yeah.
fantasy nonetheless.
Right. Yeah, I'm always for looking at other authors and like their work and stuff, because like the way I write is I write based on a lot of emotion. So I feel like I should read a more emotional part later, but I read a lot of emotion. I write a lot of emotion. And so I tend to kind of like try to deep dive into my characters and their mental, because I studied some psychology growing up. And so I really like the idea of getting really deep into my characters' minds and kind of expressing like how they're feeling. Like with Arati, she's lost and she's on this journey to try and, figure out who she is and what her life is going to be. And she wants to avenge the people that died. And, and that's literally all she's living for, is for vengeance. And so that's part of why the story is called Deliverance, because there is, something to be delivered through towards the end of the book. And so I try, when I write, to have really strong lessons or kind of showcase the deep emotional tie to whatever is going on. So that makes me excited that you felt that when I read that.
Oh yeah, she's very powerful, and like, I want to say empowered, like in a good way, not like, something to be scared of. She was really, her thoughts were very intriguing and provocative of what shows around her. It was like you were definitely showing, not telling. I that was good.
Thank you.
Very good scene. I liked it.
Just setting the stage.
Yeah.
It's only on like the 4th page.
Hey, that's great though. Gosh,
Thank
that's
you.
a lot for 4 pages. Goodness.
Yeah.
What do you normally stop at? Like 80,000 words? Do you go to 90? What for a book for?
It depends. So Deliverance is currently 79,906 words, and it is complete at the moment.
Great.
And then my other story that I've been writing, Dark Walker, I'm just at the climax, and I can't remember. Let me have to look.
One of the stories I wrote is about domestic violence, and
Oh, really?
I do plan on getting it published. I kind of loosely based it on a friend who had really tough crap happen, and a little bit kind of on myself. I called it "Two Wrongs Make a Light."
Oh,
It's about, it's wrong to be abused, to
Right.
abuse others, and it's wrong to let yourself be abused.
yes.
To get out of that, the one light that came was their child, and that's the light is the child. So out of two wrongs make a light.
That's powerful. I love that.
It's her struggle to go through life from a wheelchair to start, because he puts her in a wheelchair. It opens with her in the place getting a restraining order against him
Oh,
in a
God.
wheelchair. Yeah. So I might possibly pick that back up, work on editing it, maybe see about self-publishing it, because I did the querying thing where Writer's Marketplace, the book is this thick, but it's so
Yeah.
hard to, and it's so slow. Everything is so slow in the manuscript industry.
Yes. And that's why because I was going to go through like the publishing houses and stuff, but I was like, well, I don't like the idea of not having control over my project. And, because I'm such a picky writer, like I want to have control over that, to be able to know exactly what I'm getting into, what I'm doing, and kind of, if this doesn't work for me, I want to be comfortable when I'm writing. And I feel like I can't do that when I'm tied to somebody else who's going to just want to change all of my stuff just because they want to get clicks,
There's more to life than clicks. Some people, all you have to do is look at Johnny Depp videos, right? You can see all these channels popping up that are doing it for clicks, not because they've been following the case and believe in it. It's so twisted. It is twisted. I just don't
I
know.
agree. How do I? Trying to.
Sorry, guys.
Well, you can watch the replay, Susan. We had a really good discussion about a lot of, all three of us shared our stories.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Gary's already shared. We know his story. If you were here for a stream or two ago,
No, he didn't. He's not shared anything on these.
I remember
streams,
something
but
he shared.
He shared it on like
The psychic
stream
stream, was it? I remember.
Stephen. He has shared bits here and there, but he went into more detail like a while back on Stevie J Raw's channel, like last year.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I don't remember, but I'm talking about on your stream. I remember him talking about some things that went on. Yeah. It's really horrible when it happens to a man.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get believed, and that's why I really stand up so hard and forceful for Johnny. It's not that I'm lusting after him like these people want to say, "Oh, you're just a fan,"
Oh, I hate that. That makes me so
it's
mad.
like, way to degrade what I'm saying. Hello, I'm talking evidence. There is no evidence showing that he's done this. He has no convictions. What does she have? She has been arrested for it. She has a pattern of abuse. What does that tell you? Oh, no, she's pretty. No.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's just like when, because they're like, yeah, you're a fan and everything. Yeah, a fan of justice.
Exactly. How about let's rise up and change these stereotypes that make people think that men are all villains when some of them are survivors, just like us.
And it's so annoying to me because I do have a friend that I was kind of talking to them about the Johnny Depp situation, and they were like, "Oh, well, I saw that video when he was losing his mind, and that was enough for me." And I'm like, "Okay, if you want to be ignorant, that's on you, but you're wrong." I follow the case.
I always knew there was more to that video than we saw.
Yeah.
And when we saw the unedited version, it was very clear what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he did not throw anything at her. She had no injury to her.
More.
I know. Especially when you think TMZ, there's always more.
Huh?
No.
You feel better?
I'm back.
Yay.
Welcome back.
Can you talk? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Move your mic closer a little bit.
All right. Let me just turn it up a bit. I might have turned it down. 1 second. I'm sorry, ladies.
You're good. Mm-hmm. Why can't I figure
it out? All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. All right. For men. All right. I'm just gonna let you know that it's always hard for men.
Yes.
To come out and say things like this, because we always feel like less of a man. What? Gassy Fairy, really? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the name that she made for me. Gassy Fairy. I am quite gassy sometimes. And I can be a fairy because I'm very into my feminine side.
Oh, well, that's not how you spell fairy though. Let me change.
No, leave it. No, but it's hard for men to come out and talk about their issues like this because we feel like less of a man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because
everybody expects you to have these standards of masculinity, and men are fixers, and men do this and men do that, and to think that you're vulnerable.
I mean, and I am that. I can do that.
Yes.
That's no problem. Whatever. But
I feel
there
bad
are
for people
feelings.
who can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like for a man that can't cry or something. I mean.
Oh, I cry all the time. And I watch, rom-coms and stuff like that, and I cry at films, and anything that touches me, right here, you'll see a tear, and I'm not afraid of that. You know,
Poet.
but when it comes to feeling like, because I respect women. That's just me. All right. I respect women, and I've been brought up to be as such. And then when woman comes down on you, it really, like, it breaks your heart. It really does. It's like, I'm trying to protect you, but you're treating me like shit.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
So,
imagine.
yeah, imagine how that would feel for anyone,
Terrible.
man, woman, whatever. But I said my piece, and I told my story on Stevie's stream and
It's
everything,
not up
and
there anymore, though.
yeah, but it wasn't like what Johnny went through. It wasn't like physical or anything like that. It was more mental and emotional, and sometimes that can be more scarring than a. I would rather take a punch to the face.
At least it heals.
Yeah,
Words leave scars that are just like deep.
yeah, yeah, and you
No.
never forget it. It never goes away. It's always in the back of your mind, and it messes it up for future relationships. Because it's hard to trust a woman after you've been with a woman like that. But
Yeah.
I always have the respect, and I always give the woman the benefit of the doubt, whenever I go into another situation, a relationship, whatever. But then there's like little things that could happen, just the slightest little thing that can trigger a thought in the back of your mind to think that, oh my God, I'm going this, it's this again, it's this again. I don't want it. I don't want it. You know, but all that aside, I've pushed that aside now. I've been able to, and I'm proud to say, and very happy to say, that it was this woman over here, Kaylee, that helped me with that. You know, because she has been through a lot, but she's been strong enough to figure out that, communication is key. She always tells me this: communication is key. So we always sit and try to be calm and talk about it. And all of you know that that's her nature anyway. She's just very calm and nurturing. And she's like that with her kids as well. That's what I love, you know. But we, anytime, and I understand that it's a long distance relationship, but there can still be misunderstandings and stuff like that. But she's always reminded me to just chill out, let's talk it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then and we do, and this is the most calm that I've been in literally years. I mean, I'm a calm guy in general, but she actually communicates. That's the biggest thing for me that I love about her, and why this relationship is still going on 7 months later, going on 8. Um, so that communication really is key, and if you can just take a step back, listen to each other, listen to the words that are being said, and how the other one feels, how you feel, and be able to balance that out somehow. Now, if you can't, if you if you can agree to disagree, that's cool to a certain extent. But there has to be a time where you do have to agree at some point. And but it's hard to say, and it's hard to express. It's hard to articulate because you have to be going through it in the moment. But if you can do that, then that's a beautiful thing. I mean, if you can really just try to just understand each other and how each other works, the ticks, the moments, the moods, and accept it. If you can accept it, then that's your partner. If you can't accept it, then walk away. It could be that simple. It doesn't have to get violent. It doesn't have to be horrible or evil in any way. You can just, if you can't come together in a thought, then just you can still be friends, but that's not the person for you. The person for you has to think and feel the way that you do, basically.
They have to care.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
I
have to
mean,
care for each other.
yes.
You
And
care for
sometimes,
yourself. You have to care for yourself first and
yes,
foremost.
because you have to know love, what it is.
Exactly. And if you're just doing it for somebody else, that's not healthy either.
No.
If you're just doing something just to make somebody happy, that's not healthy for you because you're not going to be completely happy
Can't walk
because
on eggshells for someone.
you're
Right.
catering. You're catering.
Yes.
There
Enabling.
has
It gets to a point where it's
yeah,
enabling.
absolutely, exactly. It has to be like a perfect yin and yang thing. Like you guys just understand each other. You understand how each other works, and you move forward. You go with that. You can, at that point, move forward. Because if you don't have that, you can't move forward. There's always going to be some, like you said, walking on eggshells or butting
Yeah.
heads. You know, but that was my whole thing, but like I said earlier, I don't want, honestly, this is just me though. I don't want to talk about my past because it's in the past. I want to talk about what's here and now and moving forward with it. And right now, it's all of you, it's this community, what we're doing here. And as far as a partner goes, it's me and Keely, So that's what it is right now, and that's what I'm moving forward with. And I love all of you so much. I do. I really do. You're all such great spirits, great souls, and wonderful people, so much fun, great to be around and talk to. But as far as for me as a partner, for me as my woman is Kaylee, So, and I know all of you know this and you respect it and you love it and I thank you for it. But th- all the uh, all of the bad stuff, it's good to get off your shoulders. That's why we're doing this right now. It's good to get off your shoulders and get it off your chest and just air it
Gary
out.
Gnu.
I
I'm
love you,
sorry.
so.
Gary Gnu.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
I'm
remember
old
him.
enough to know who Gary Gnu is.
I remember him and Smedley. McGilla Gorilla.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll stop. Yes.
No gnu's is good gnu's with Gary Gnu.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically all I want to say about this subject. As far as me, as far as I'm concerned, anybody wants to air anything out, get it off your chest. That's what this whole thing is about. Okay, I'm just here to support my woman, and that's it. So, but
You're
thank
good
you for
egg, aren't you?
listening.
Do you like your little crown next to your name?
Gassy fairy with the crown.
It's like you guys are mom and dad and we're all the kids.
I want that crown.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I'm in for. I appreciate you, listening to me rant. But yeah, that's it. And I will always protect my woman. You know, anybody that comes at her like what happened last time. I mean, it's all
Yay!
water under the bridge, but
I got a crown. Yay!
I want a moon.
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, you need a moon.
that's my
This
time.
way. Yep, you need a moon.
Mm. No, and I think that's like part of the reason why I wanted to come on here and talk and everything, and is to kind of let you guys know. And I mean, that's what sharing our stories is all about, and everything is, you're not alone, and
Yes.
healing can happen, and it happens in the craziest ways, like with writing or singing or dancing or music or reading or even just getting some damn sleep that you've missed out on. Like,
Yeah, there
you
you go.
know,
hmm
it's so
Feeling.
important. Yay, moon me.
Mm.
But yeah,
Get
and
all
it's just
creative
really
with everyone's name.
it's
Go
just
on, I'm
really
sorry.
important. No, you're good. And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that I found this community and stumbled across everything, and I mean, like I always say, excuse me, I always give credit to Keely,
Kitty.
to bringing me back to spirit and everything. It's just so strange because I've been looking for 20 years for tarot cards, never found any
Awesome.
that I want. I go into one Keely stream, one Rosaline stream, and then all of a sudden I find a deck that calls me. Give me the keys.
There you go. There you
And
go,
it's just,
Moon Girl.
we're all just brought together for a reason, and I just think it's so beautiful and important.
We bring out the best in one another. That's the way,
Mhm.
a community
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah,
You support
and look,
and bring them out. Bring the
moons.
best out. What's that one mean?
These are just moons on the back of my cards.
Oh, it's the back? Oh, I was like looking at that, thinking
Yeah.
of the card. Ooh,
Mhm.
That's very cool.
those are beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had some tarot cards that I shared with my mother years ago, and they were like really big ones.
Yeah.
And like they got lost. And so she bought me a set for my wedding. They got lost. And it's like I went years and I thought, okay, well, I don't need it. I really don't want this in my life right now. And then I started watching Keely's streams, and I was like, well, you know what?
Mhm.
Maybe I do want this back. And I've been doing my own readings again, and I swear it's just like when I was younger. I get the same. It's like visiting old friends because the faces
Yeah.
of the cards that I go with are the same, And I'm like, wow, okay, he's telling me something in that position. What am I? Oh, I can see it
Mhm.
now. What's this position mean? Yep, I see what it's saying there.
Yeah.
I find a lot of enlightenment from the cards and looking at things.
That's
Yeah.
If it is only for entertainment, I do feel something from it.
Yeah.
I got Issa.
Yeah.
Issa said, Keely, where is your crown?
Oh, she got her crown now. The Kiwi
Would you-
crown.
There we go. The key.
No,
Perfect.
that's I mean that's very well said, Fam. So thank you for that. Because that's basically what her channel's about and what I love so much about it. Bringing us
Susan.
together like this and
Mhm.
bringing us back to more like spiritual thinking instead of just like because the real life out there it's ridiculous right now. It's crazy. You watch the
Mhm.
news, you're gonna go nuts. So
Crazy.
we
Go on
gotta
the road.
come-
Try and drive to your corner store and
Yeah.
see how crazy people are right now.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
in the corner store and see how crazy people are right now.
Absolutely.
Not good.
Absolutely.
I'm with you on that, Gary.
Yeah,
I only have
that's
like 7 real life people that I actually talk to on a daily basis.
real life
I
people.
understand.
We're real life too, girl.
Yeah, but you're all
Even
my
though it's
virtual real
digital.
life friends. I need to get
Yeah.
to the UK so I can hang
I
out
just
with
want to
Keely.
say,
Yeah.
I hate the sound of my voice too, Susan. So don't
I
let that
hate the
hold
sound
you
of
back.
my voice.
So I mean, really, I'm here. I
I
don't
hate the
care.
sound of
I'm
my
like,
voice.
I had to get over it. I was like, well, okay. So I have an alto voice. Hey, I could do the baritone if I gave it a shot. But, let's not
Everybody
go there every
hates-
time.
Everybody hates the sound of their own voice. Like when you hear your own
Right.
voice. Because how many times have you said to me, I hate listening to myself?
Yeah. No,
And I'm
absolutely.
saying,
We always hate listening to our own voices, but
Don't let that
everyone
stop you,
here
though.
has a lovely voice. Everyone here has
Don't
a
let
lovely
that stop
voice.
you.
Yeah, No,
I really
no.
thank you for letting me come on tonight, Keely. Thank you. And thank you all
Thank
for
you.
being so kind in chat. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
You're like a celebrity amongst this community right now, real
Uh-huh.
Pamphlet.
No.
I was just about to
So
say.
Oh, God, come on.
you are. You know how much of a pleasure it is for us to see you and hear you.
Oh,
Yes.
It's so cool.
Making
I
the
know.
blood.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
thank you guys. I guess it's just because I left myself a mystery for so long and nobody knew even what I looked like or anything, you know.
Oh, you're beautiful.
I know.
You are. Yeah.
I'm not
Eh,
out here to win beauty contests. You know what I mean? I'm just here to show my heart, and it's on the
This ain't
sleeve.
no
So,
beauty contest.
no, I'm saying, but like to some people, that's what they do. They think just because you don't look the way they expect you to, that you're not important or you're useless or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, people base so much on what you look like. You know, so now they've got a face. Okay, here I am, y'all. It's
There you
me.
go.
I'm
There you
real.
go. Well, with I just want to say this, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking for you, my love. The Keely's channel, it's not a beauty contest. It's just showing your true self, your true soul and spirit. That's all this is about, you know. And it's a safe space, and everybody here is always beautiful,
I
you
agree.
know. So that's why it's so
Apart from that one
nice.
person who had an ugly ass heart.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
well,
always gonna have those, but we can filter them out.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
no
you know, when
problem.
somebody shows you that they're not what they profess to be,
Hmm.
that's when you can, you know, it's like you almost want to thank them so that you can like
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
move
I
away.
say it
You
every
know?
day. Toxicity
Yeah,
is toxicity is toxicity.
Yeah.
yeah,
And it,
but
Everybody
like
gets
like,
the
that.
snip.
yeah, and like you said, fam, so if you're thanking them for like, all right, thank you for letting me know what to filter out.
Hmm.
Yes,
And
exactly.
it's really nice too because the trash always takes itself out.
Ooh, indeed. Oh,
It
I like
does. It
that
usually will
hashtag.
show itself out. You're not wrong there.
That's a
That's exactly what
hashtag.
I. That's exactly what I put as that tweet that day when I received that
Hmm.
email.
Yes, the trash
The
takes
trash
itself
took
out.
its yeah.
Yep. And it
Um,
did.
if anybody wants to come on next Friday stream, you can email me on keelatartsinquiry@gmail.com.
There you go.
Because that's the last one next Friday. There will be others, but it's not gonna be until like random ones here and there, like April later on next year, because we've got Christmas and then I've got my children's birthdays and everything. So, and there's other things that we've got to plan up here as well. Like I've got some collab
If you
streams that I
do
want to
chronic pain,
plan.
I definitely would love in on that, Keely. If you do
Hmm.
another chronic pain
Me
panel,
too.
please, I
Ooh,
want in.
Me too.
Yeah,
nice.
they're still to come. But like you normally, as many of you already know, like on Friday, and I'll have different things, don't I? Good having Stevie and Les on again, and we'll get the chronic pain one at some point, and we cover all the different subjects, collab streams with other psychics as well, and
Hmm.
other readers, all that to come. But I'm gonna call the stream to an end here, my loves, because it's like not 3:15. It's been 3 hours and 15 minutes nearly. Um, been a long stream. It's like
And
10
you
to
streamed
in the
earlier
morning.
today too, didn't you?
Not
Yes, she
streamed at my
did.
usual. I streamed my usual time, 5:30
Mm-hmm.
EST, 10:30 UK. That's the time I always stream. Well, I did stream earlier on today. Yeah, is that what you
Yeah, that's
mean?
what
Like,
I'm
I
talking about.
streamed in the day. I thought you meant I started the stream earlier than you.
No.
In my head. Ed's not working.
Thank you, Sunshine. Thank you,
It's
Yes.
Khaleesi.
almost
Thank you,
2 in
Elizabeth.
the
Thank you,
morning.
all of you, everybody. You guys are great. Really,
Yeah. Everyone's amazing.
Love
all of
you
you,
all.
everybody. You guys are why Keely does this. Really, to
Mhm.
help you guys, to help us, all
Yeah.
of us, so that we have a safe place to be and to relate these kind of heavy topics.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Bob Wills is live. I think he's doing Star Wars, but if you want something to watch, go and check him out. Go and do a Kid Talks raid. That's the same. Go and
Well,
follow
let's
him.
do it.
Go.
I'm gonna do it right now.
I'd have to switch computers, but yeah, I'll go over there, boot up, and I'll be in later.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Bye,
I
everybody.
so want to just
Bye,
play
everyone.
that Pac-Man back there. Next,